Hi, everybody. Welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, episode 122. We are back down in the basement for a late night recording session tonight.
Behind the curtain again.
Behind
God
the curtain.
damn it.
Because we are off to an independent wrestling show tomorrow when we normally are recording
That's
this
true.
or just finishing recording this. So we
Just
thought
before Full Gear.
and then we got Full Gear tomorrow night as well. So a big day of wrestling for us. But I'm your host with my co-host and teenage son, Jack. I don't know, man. I know one thing you could talk about in our banter is you saw a movie last week after we recorded, right?
Oh, right. Yeah.
And how was it? You and your friends?
Right. Yeah. Black Panther 2 or Wakanda Forever. It was great, actually.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah.
That was not your initial report.
'cause
Your friends seemed to like it more than you when I picked you
No,
up.
I really
At 1
liked it.
o'clock, by the way.
Yeah. No, I really liked it. It's a lot of grief in there because they're kind of dealing with the death of Black Panther or Chadwick Boseman because he died of
Right.
cancer. So they kind of like, the way they did that was, it doesn't spoil too much, was like he just kind of, his character dies of a illness or whatever. So it's like kind of blurring the lines a lot. Just 'cause
Sure.
it's like, it's pretty much
Between
what happened.
what actually happened, yeah.
Yeah. And so it was really good. The villain, Namor, Submariner, he's kind of like Aquaman, but he came first. He's got wings on his ankles and pointed ears, and he's a mutant. He's awesome. He was great.
Nice.
Really well done. And he's got like his race of blue people. They're kind of, they got some
Sounds interesting.
Mexican Aztec influences and whatever, but he was really good. He was what Gore should have been with Christian Bale in the
Yeah.
Thor movie.
Good
he
enough
was
that
really
you'll
good.
see it again because you've seen
Yeah,
him.
probably.
Okay.
If we hadn't gone before, we would have gone today, but no, we went last week. It was really good. Yeah, it was, and it was 2 hours 41 minutes, which was good because it was a little long. But the past two Marvel
as
movies,
the person waiting to pick you up, it was a
the
little
past
long.
2 movies have been like just on the cusp of 2 hours, which is too short in my opinion.
240 is too long.
And the other ones just felt rushed, so I don't mind it being a little more bloated than being rushed.
Did you
So,
hear it?
It was good.
Did you hear her? Listen.
Yeah, I can hear her.
Yeah,
I heard
the
her,
cat is
yeah.
back.
Back in the letterbox.
She's out there.
It's funny.
Yeah, so, and then tomorrow we are going to see, I think we mentioned it last week, but Smash Wrestling, and I keep forgetting the other federation,
WXW.
WXW, that's going to be on the network at some point, right? So, Smash
Right, because I think WXW is one of the promotions that WWE's, they got like their library on there.
Yeah,
it's
where's
like
it from? Is
Progress.
it German or is it?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's the German one.
Me
And I
too.
think they have like Progress and I think ICW and
Right.
stuff like that.
So Smash, I think, is the largest Ontario indie. If not, it's one of the bigger ones anyways. So they haven't done a show in quite a while, so that should be fun. It's interesting, too, because it's like middle of the day, right? Like 3 o'clock is when...
Right, I thought we'd be missing Full Gear, but it
We are not.
should work out nicely.
And we no longer have to go help your grandfather with his winter tires either.
Is that what it was?
Uncle
Okay.
Phil went today, I think, so we don't
I
have
saw
to.
him on texting him.
So that's nice. And then other than that, just another week of school. Looks like the support staff caretakers, secretaries are on strike again on Monday. So
Lame.
you'll be going to online school.
I like
looks
to
like it.
call it Movies 101.
Yeah, well, as long as you keep up with your schoolwork. So
Last time I did that, I got on a roll. Actually, wait, first time I did that.
that's true. Grade 8, right?
Yes, sir.
I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's and then your brother doesn't have basketball this weekend, which is surprising. I think it all starts up again in full effect next
I'm going
week.
to try to get my friends to do a church group on Sunday if we can.
Which is code for you going to the mall
Yes.
and walking around.
Yeah.
Which
'cause
you
I
did
went
today. Are you-
And I had some great finds, which I'll
I
specify
was going to
later.
say you're saving that for figuring it out.
Makes most sense, but
Yes.
it was quite the find.
All I can say is he went to the mall, and I received a picture of this thing, and then he was quite excited to have found
yeah,
it.
it's
So
pretty sweet.
excited you bought 2.
I
In
did.
fact, you doubled
did.
up on it.
I did. And maybe I'll triple, which is partially why I want to go back.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But you've noticed that having a part-time job allows you to have a little bit of money to spend, even though some of it's going into savings. You still have some to spend, which
Mhm.
is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to life.
Also, I guess another thing we did was a pharmacist stabbed me
Oh yeah, we got our flu shots for the first time ever, just
in
because.
my place of work.
Yeah, that's true, because it was in the in the pharmacy of the grocery store in which you work.
Yeah.
So that was fun. All 4 of us went in together and got it. Just everyone I know in the medical profession was telling me that if you're ever going to get one, this is the year to get it. Hospitalizations for respiratory illnesses are up in our area, especially among children. So I think it's between flu and COVID and RSV. There's lots of issues. So I've never gotten it before, but yeah, my arm's not sore even. Your mom was saying hers is,
Mine
but
was a little bit yesterday, but it's like a typical kind of thing.
yeah, mine
And a
feels
little
fine.
bit today. It's not like the COVID one where like I literally feel like my arm's useless.
Agree. That one was my arm
That's
was
the
much
one
more
where it
sore.
kills your arm, kind
Yeah.
of.
So yeah, we're all that was our excitement for the week, but
Excitement.
it's a full life we lead, right?
Yes.
But I don't know. I figure we could move into talking about some
Mm.
wrestling since it's gonna be like 2 a.m. by the time we're done recording this.
Right.
So and I wish I were joking, but I'm not. So, anyways, let's get started taking a look at some of the week's wrestling news and rumors. All right, so ratings this week. NXT averaged 663,000 viewers, which is almost essentially the same. It was down 1,000, so basically the same. Earned a .17 in the key demographic, which is up 13.3%. So fourth best demo rating in 2022. They'll like that. And that's despite going some head-to-head competition with a fairly significant NCAA basketball game.
That's one of the things I saw was that it was their lowest rating in 5 months.
Yes, but highest demo rating. So that's what they care more about. And up
It's
against,
always weird at the contrast there.
yes, that one goes down and one goes up, right? So
Mhm.
fewer people, but more people in that age bracket this
Right.
week. Dynamite was down as well. They were 818,000 viewers, so down 12%. 0.28 in the key demo, so that's down 12.5%. So that ties the lowest rating for Dynamite that they've ever done on TBS and is the show's lowest rating overall since March of 2021. So not great numbers for them. And normally it'll tell me they were up against some major competition or something, but I didn't see anything about that where I took my information from anyways.
I saw they were up against NBA.
Yes, generally at this time of year they will be.
Mhm.
So yeah, not great numbers for them. And we both agree it was kind of a light week for news this week, right? So I don't know if you have anything
I
interesting.
did find something pretty interesting last minute.
All right,
just
go for
something
it.
I've been talking about now. Part of my Dynamite review is irrelevant
As you eat a cookie.
as I ate a cookie.
Right.
So the AEW World Title Eliminating Tournament final has been moved to next week's Dynamite opposed to the pay-per-view.
Oh yeah.
And so then you told me the semifinal between Cage and Starks is on the 0 hour.
Yes, I just finished watching Rampage.
Which my thesis was that they should have. I would have put that on the pre-show, but then I also would have kept the final on the pay-per-view. It's just one of them would have to wrestle late. But I figure if you put it late enough on the card, what's the difference?
Yeah,
But I get why
people
they
have done it before, right? So
yeah, it's just
but it gives you something for Dynamite.
They kind of booked the tournament poorly then if they gotta move it. But I mean, if Starks was injured, I guess. But like, I still think they could have finagled away.
He wrestled in a hockey jersey on
I saw
Rampage for some reason.
Didn't he get like attacked or something?
Yes, he did.
So I guess there's that.
Yeah.
But so that's interesting.
I saw Trevor Murdoch, I told you already, but he was talking about his time in WWE, and finally he worked up the courage to speak to Vince McMahon about what he needed to work on or do to get more attention or TV time or whatever. And Vince had a very simple 8-word response that sounds very, very Vince. It was simply, "I hate that pasty, flabby body of yours." So
nice.
Complete and total body shaming, but I guess like full marks for honesty. Like you asked, right?
It's very Vince, I guess.
Asked the guy running the company, and he was very honest with you,
right?
as much as it's a horrible thing to say. But so yeah, I mean, it's just like not surprising, right? Just further evidence that this is of key importance to Vince McMahon. Yeah.
So last week we were talking about the Young Bucks applying for a trademark.
Right.
I saw that now they've abandoned that trademark.
Oh, interesting.
So interesting ahead of their confirmed return.
I wonder why you would abandon a trademark.
Guess like couldn't get it or didn't.
Couldn't get it or
like, I don't know.
Wouldn't that be that they denied the trademark and not abandon it?
I don't know.
I don't quite know how it works.
I don't know.
This was on NXT, so didn't make a Highspot or Resthold, but I figured it's
maybe
newsworthy.
took too long.
Right? It's Shawn Michaels announcing a new match type for their next premium live event, I guess, NXT Deadline. And that is...
You almost said pay-per-view, how dare you?
You love the name of this. The Iron Survivor Challenge. And there will be...
so like WWE lingo, and it's just like too many words, you know?
Yeah.
Like 2 words max for a match type.
So it's
other than Hell in a Cell, sorry.
They'll have a men's and a women's match on the Deadline card, and the basic structure, rules, whatever you want to say for this is 5 superstars are in a match that's guaranteed to go 25 minutes, and it's the most falls after that 25
Like an
minutes
Ironman
wins.
of sorts.
Okay, finish chewing your cookie, man. I don't know why you're choosing to eat a cookie as we start recording a podcast. It's an interesting choice. But anyways, falls can be by pinfall, submission, or disqualification. And then they've also added like a penalty box element, right? So if you lose a fall, you're in a penalty box for a minute and a half.
There's a DQ. That's lame.
And that's what it says here, yeah. And the winner gets a title shot, which I assume would be for the NXT championship and the women's championship. And the competitors for both of those matches will be announced in the future, so I haven't really heard much speculation on who will be in it. But I don't know. I feel like...
Remember what you're talking about, the one flaw with it is the intervals, because it kind of puts you at multiple advantages and disadvantages.
Which I guess is true of like the Royal Rumble too, right? Like it's kind of depends on when you get in.
Yeah, but the Rumble, it's not like you're trying to score eliminations.
Yeah, because if you're in longer, you have a chance to score more pinfalls, but you're also going to take more damage. So
right, and then it's the opposite if you're entering late. But I feel like in the Rumble, it's like you don't need to get eliminations; you just want to be fresh to survive.
Right.
So I feel like the Rumble, where it's like you have a clear, like you're later, it's a definitive advantage.
Which I always wonder why more heels don't just not get in the ring. Like it's been done so many times. Like go down and don't get in the ring and just sit there and wait.
With this, I don't know. I would personally like just you start 5 with them because I think everything else besides the name and the intervals is good. Because I think penalty box, that's fine. That's an interesting element.
Yeah, I don't mind
really
them
do that
trying.
because that was only King of the Mountain. And the rest
right.
of that's just stupid.
They're borrowing from Impact Wrestling, which is a little bit interesting.
And then I think like 5, just like then there's more action to be had at the beginning. You know, I just think it works better. But I mean, I don't mind. Like at least a new idea. Like the name's crap, but I think the match is cool.
Yeah, I don't.
Generally speaking,
it sounds like I'm interested at least. It sounds like it could be a good match. Just another, I guess, specialty match for them to use. And it feels like it's one of those things like. Sports will do this too. They'll try things in the minor leagues before they try it in the, you know what I mean? So this is like, let's see if this match is at all interesting before we debut it on main roster. They'll just steal it and put it on main roster.
Like they did for years for War Games.
Exactly. Which was funny because when they're showing like the War Games packages on main roster, they try to like sort of.
That's what I heard. Like this War Games is supposed to be crazy because they want highlight footage for next year. Because like. Not only is it NXT the other years, but like a lot of the guys are gone. Undisputed Era, Keith Lee.
Because like War Games was Undisputed Era's match basically, right?
It was,
and you can't really show them. So
yeah.
The
women's matches, I guess, less so you could probably get away with, but like I think even so, they'd probably like to have the main roster footage.
I'm sure they would. What else do you have?
Yeah, there literally wasn't other than last year, I guess.
Yeah, that's it. I think.
Yeah, because they were in all of them. WWE are still set to press on with they do like the documentary series on A&E.
Oh yeah.
You know, like whatever that is.
Yep.
So they're doing one of the biography ones. They're still pressing on with plans to do one on Paige or Saraya.
Really?
Yeah, so that's fine. I mean, I can't say it's the most high profile thing because I feel like there's more put into the ones on their network because it's like they don't always do that. You know what I mean? Like I feel like this is just like a series. It's like I don't. There's something different when it's meant for another network. If you know what I'm saying? Like it's just like I don't know.
It's gonna feed into this myth that she's more important than she is. I feel like a little.
Yeah, it's like I think it's like biography legends or whatever.
Yeah, which
legends.
I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Total legend.
Yep.
What else do I have here?
I mean, like she'd like to have you believe.
She would. Definitely spends a lot of time trying to convince me that is in fact the case, but I'm not believing her. In the latest edition of The Observer, Meltzer reported that WWE plans on debuting 2 top athletes on NXT. You know how they did that little search for I forget what it was called. It had an official name and everything. So I'm going to butcher these names because I haven't heard them said. I've only seen them in print. But it's AJ Amrine, I think, and Isaac
Yankum.
Odugbison. And apparently, I don't think they'll be keeping those names, but those are their actual names.
I can't imagine. They're not very showbiz.
So AJ was a member of the acrobatics and tumbling team at Baylor, so like super flippy.
More athletes.
Yes, and he was their 2020 Scholar Athlete of the Year. And then Isaac was a top-ranked shot putter in the NCAA, so he would be like a probably huge. So you've got one like flippy person and then one guy that will just be an absolute powerhouse. I assume. I haven't seen either of them.
But throw balls at people.
So clearly they are very new to wrestling, but it sounds like they're going to make an appearance on NXT at some point in the not too distant future.
Former athletes debuting on TV, learning how to wrestle. Whoop,
Always
whoop.
always goes well.
Yep.
I only have one more news item.
So Kevin Owens is announced as the final man of the McIntyre Brutes, which is called the Babyface War Games team.
Yep.
Men's War Games team,
But
despite the news of the recent injury. So we'll see how.
Expecting him to be back by then, I guess. It's
We'll
not
see
so
how
bad.
he fares. I guess it's next weekend. So
right.
We'll
What
see
is
how,
the injury? Do you know?
I have no idea. I don't remember looking at it. I just remember seeing like that he's kind of injuries,
Yeah.
and that they had planned to have him in this spot.
Yeah.
So it's kind of up in the air, but they still did it. So there's that.
There is that. Finally, for me, also from Meltzer, I guess, a lot of concern still. We talked about it a few weeks ago for Adam Cole and his AEW future, wrestling future in general, I guess. Because it's been months now, right, since he's been around. And
He appeared sometime in the summer when Undisputed Elite turned heel on Bucks. Then he just disappeared again, as did O'Reilly.
Right.
And then last time he wrestled would have been June 26th, which was Forbidden Door.
Feels rumory, but it just says there's growing concern about his health and future in the wrestling business. So,
yeah,
as fans of him, that's
really
not
concerned that it's that bad because it's been a long time now.
It has. So hopefully he
He's
gets
definitely
better.
one of my favorites. So that's I don't know, it's tough.
They could use him, even though there's too many people on the roster. He's a guy I would find time for.
Yeah, so I'm really disappointed with that, but I don't know. Hopefully it's just kind of. Hopefully it'll get better, and hopefully no more double murder suicides.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, definitely. No, none of those.
Last one I have is Triple H is apparently very interested in bringing back Matt Cardona.
Yeah, I saw that as well.
So that's interesting. I mean, Cardona's said that he doesn't want to do Zack Ryder again, like he would do kind of what he's doing right now. I guess, like, or at least
if they let him
Cardona.
until they decide they don't want him to.
Right. So I don't know. That's interesting. It's like he could probably do well there now that he's.
I don't know why they feel they need him though. Like,
I don't think they do.
What's he gonna do?
I don't know. It's kind of like never mind. I thought I had a comparison.
Because now he's just getting into tag team land with Myers in Impact. So
yeah.
I don't know, but he's not a major. Doesn't move the needle.
He's not a major player.
He is major player, but he doesn't move the needle no matter where he is. For me, I think he's better suited for
NWA,
Impact, and like indie stuff like that to me. But I don't know. Whatever. Yeah. Good for him if he can get that money, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, that's finishing up the news and stuff, I guess, and we'll move into our first in-depth review. I guess our only really super in-depth review each week. And that is taking a look at the Go Home episode of AEW Dynamite. All right, tell me about Dynamite. Let's get this thing rolling.
Is that an Undertaker reference?
Yeah, of course, always.
Biscuit.
You know I love him.
Fred Durst.
Correct.
A video game star. So we open with Blackpool Combat Club's Claudio Castagnoli and Bryan Danielson versus Chris Jericho and Samuel Guevara.
I am exhausted by this feud, man. Doesn't it feel like we've seen every combination of these guys?
This is the only one
times.
I feel like we haven't seen, just because I don't remember Claudio and Danielson teaming together. Other than that, like if it's like
months and months and months of this,
like different variations. Like at least they did have the sense to cut out Kingston and Jericho, because that would have been like way overdone. But this is like
a lot.
I get it. Sports entertainment pro wrestlers are opposite. But
did not feel fresh to me, but anyways.
Yeah, I want to say the Ring of Honor title match on Full Gear is the culmination, but
is it?
You know,
it should be.
I would have thought that like last pay-per-view.
And then when is Ring of Honor's next pay-per-view?
December.
So after that, we get a show, hopefully, and we can sort this stuff out, separate some things. Yeah. Get them some more time to get away from Dynamite and get on their own show would be nice. Yes. But anyways.
So notables, Danielson holds Guevara in like the surfboard stretch and tags in Claudio. So he keeps kind of Guevara in that hold, and then he holds him for Claudio to hit a boot. Just
right.
Kind of neat. Long stalling vertical suplex on Guevara by Claudio, as he does.
Lunges with it this time, which is ridiculous.
He's like kneeling with it too, yeah. Guevara drop toe holds Danielson in the middle turnbuckle and then distracts the ref for Jericho hit Danielson with a bat shot. Cheating and shenanigans.
With the Ring of Honor Championship. Hard to believe.
Claudio gets a hot tag flurry. Later on, Jericho locks Claudio in the walls of Jericho until Danielson breaks the diving shotgun dropkick. meaty dropkick.
Mm-hmm.
Guevara and Danielson trade strikes. They have a pretty nice exchange. I like it. Guevara goes for the GTH. Danielson counters into a bell lock. Guevara gets to the ropes. There's an avalanche cutter by Guevara, which is pretty nice. And then Jericho tags in, hits a lion salt for a near fall. Claudio breaks the pin at 2 though. And then another one, Danielson takes out Guevara with a suicide dive, and then the finish comes when Jericho goes for a bat shot. But Claudio disarms him and eventually taps him out with the sharpshooter, and he's holding the bat over his shoulder, which
Yeah.
was, I guess, kind of neat, but like
I
don't know.
thought it was a bit of a strange visual,
Yeah.
honestly.
But
And the bat looked tiny in his,
it did.
right?
Yeah.
Like it was.
It was weird. And so I don't know. I think it was solid, but it kind of dragged a bit at times, and just more so in the early half. I thought, because I think it was like pretty solid action all around. It just didn't feel like it was that exciting in the early going, and stuff was happening. Just feel like I didn't feel like there was a ton going on there.
Right.
I thought it definitely picked up in latter stages, especially with the exchanges between Guevara and Danielson. 'Cause I think they have really good chemistry. I think their singles matches were really great. I think they were my favorite part of this. So I think they have really nice chemistry together. I don't think it was one of Jericho's strongest outings lately. Not because he wasn't like good in this, because I think he was perfectly fine for like his standard. But like he just didn't do a whole lot, and it wasn't like the most exciting match. But he and Claudio were solid. The finish felt a bit anticlimactic for me. Like,
Yeah.
Just a sharpshooter with the bat. Like it was fine, but it was just kind of anticlimactic. And so I guess Blackpool have the pre-pay-per-view momentum, the coveted momentum.
All important momentum.
I think it is odd though, because given that the guys involved in the four-way, so these guys obviously with the factional ties, I feel like the decent portion of the Fatal 4-Way will kind of play out like this tag match under
Right.
Tornado rules. And like I'm anticipating something along the lines of the IWGP 4-Way at Forbidden Door, with Switchblade, Cole, Okada, and Hangman. Last time we saw Cole wrestling, incidentally. But with this match, I don't know if I can see like, because eventually those guys will turn on each other, right? Like I don't think I can see Jazz turning on each other like Cole and White did, because it's kind of a different thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I hope they do, so that we can get like a full-on 4-way action, because I think that will be great, but I kind of have my doubts how that'll play out. I'm sure it'll be a good match. I'm unsure how that's going to go down, so I guess it's more intrigue for that. But I guess just a thought I had.
But like, yeah, you're giving something very similar away for free, right?
Right.
On this. So it's funny because we didn't compare notes
Blackpool
on this
are
one.
very much like, they will fight each other, like
Yes, they will.
no doubt. But
Yeah.
Jazz is like, I feel like to add more to the clash of these two styles, but like I don't think they really would, especially Guevara and Jericho, because there's like they were teaming since like the Inner Circle days,
That's right. They've been together forever. So my thoughts were pretty much the same as yours, and it's funny because we haven't talked about it. Like I thought it was good, but like not good enough for me to forget that I'm pretty tired of this combination, right? And I thought so too, especially early on. It was like standard stuff.
I even kind of remember mentioning it was kind of boring, which like not that it was bad, but it's just like not super thrilling.
Nothing impressive in the first few minutes, right? And then it was like, okay, Sammy and Danielson are starting to get things going, and then that was the bad attack to cut that short. So it almost felt like I was wondering if, because they're in what's probably going to be, as JR would say, like a hellacious match on Saturday, they were kind of working safe and like doing some of their B stuff.
Sammy will bust out some crazy thing
right
on or Saturday.
And Sammy working safe in this is still like him doing
the
pretty crazy
avalanche
stuff.
cutter, right?
Yeah. And I thought so too. Like the final few minutes of this were better than the rest, and I guess it was a solid opener, but nothing really more than that. And like we've already said, this feud needs to end at Full Gear. I really hope I
really like Blackpool. I think they need something else to do.
I agree.
I don't know. Jericho can do whatever.
Yeah, I don't care. He can go on to the ROH show and do that for a while. Someone suggested that he even like booked that show for a while, so Tony Khan doesn't have to, like, send him there fully, basically.
That wouldn't be terrible
for a title run and to write the show.
He just writes like a Reign of Terror.
He might.
Next we get a quick Moxley MJF package. There's just a lot of people in the video talking about Moxley being the best in the world. MJF had to have the best match of his life to win a bunch of stuff. Like there's some talking heads and whatnot.
Yeah,
it was pretty short. I thought it was solid. Was short. Not a lot to say because it was pretty short, but I guess we'll get more from them later on. So it's doesn't need to cover too many bases. So I thought it was alright.
And it's funny because my notes at the time say basically that I like when they do those other people in the company give their opinions on a matchup, but then I had as long as it's for fairly big fights and not used too often, which it's I think
It-
used 2 more times on this show
Yeah.
coming up. But yeah, like I actually thought this was
Because, like, does
surprising.
everyone have an opinion on everything that they must share?
I also felt like they were trying to get Renee in as many different like things as possible. So
I feel like she makes more sense here, if you know what I'm saying.
this was really brief, but I guess it's because they were ending the show with a live segment with these two, right? So it was fine.
Which was an interesting choice, not
I thought so.
necessarily a bad one, but just they have not done that in a long time.
No, for sure.
Next we get a Darby Sting vignette. The fact that I had to say it says Darby Sting vignette is sad.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a body bag crowd surfing, I think it was, and then later on it's put into a car driving in the desert. Darby opens out of it. Sting's driving. Sting says full gear at showtime. Okay. So I thought this was fine, cool Darby thing, but then Sting shows up and I stopped being interested. Oh boy, here comes a promo from Lethal's group right after. I hope I don't see Jarrett.
So yeah, like the tone of this was cool. The images were cool, but it had Sting, and didn't it feel like it was Uncle Sting going to pick up his troublemaking nephew and save him from a jam, sort of thing, right? Is what it
God,
felt like, which maybe was the point.
that's
I don't
so
know.
bad.
But yeah, it looks cool, but I don't really have an interest in Sting in 2022, as we've made clear many times.
I've been making it clear for
And the fact
almost
that
2 years now.
It's Jarrett as well is even more
Oh, we'll get there.
ridiculous. Yes.
Because
we will.
next we cut to a
We'll
promo
get there
from
right
Lethal's
now.
group.
Yeah.
That says come to full gear. That's what they want. It's an interesting desire, you know. That's weird. Jarrett comes in. The last outlaw.
And my interest leaves as he comes in.
It's like when Sting comes in. It's just like I'm like,
way worse for me.
way
worse.
worse, really.
Oh, I would rather see
That's
Sting
true.
20 times out of 20.
I don't know. I haven't. It's kind of because I think Sting's older, but
But I get it. He's a draw. He's done something in the business. No offense, Jeff Jarrett. Like, honestly, what has he really done?
create TNA.
And given himself championships in certain places, but none of
TNA.
consequence and stuff, right? So Sting, I understand. He is legit an icon. Jeff Jarrett is just a guy that seems to somehow latch on to every company. It's very interesting to me.
Yeah, because he's been in New Japan.
And maybe he's super valuable.
He was in AAA too, I'm pretty sure.
Maybe he's super valuable backstage or whatever. I don't know, but I don't care. I don't need him on screen.
What's his BS title that Tony Khan gave him?
I don't
remember. So Jarrett says he wrestled Sting 24 years ago. Not the flex you think it is.
Not at all. No.
Like that just makes it like I don't know.
Like Dante Martin wasn't born.
Yeah. And he likes to say his catchphrase, "It's showtime," and Full Gear will be his last time. You know, I wish, but no.
It was super short at least, but he doesn't even really sound like a heel for most of it. I don't know. It's I just want it off my screen. So I'm glad it was only like 30 seconds long, but give that 30 seconds to anyone else for anything else would be my suggestion.
Yeah, I just said Jarrett, no thanks. Saying he and Sting faced off that long ago makes it blatantly obvious to anyone who didn't already think so that this should not be happening.
Yeah, of course not.
Like, no.
No.
And I guarantee they faced off plenty of times in TNA. So why?
And they will build this match to the Jarrett Sting confrontation, right? Like they're gonna act like that's what people want to see. So it'll be like
it's not like I want Jarrett. Lethal Darby 3.
Every combination until we get those two, and that's what. Please, and the fans
Darby
will take
Jarrett,
the bait.
Lethal Sting.
They'll cheer.
Sting versus Satnam's. Oh God.
Right, the combinations are endless.
No, wait. They should team. They should be called Satnam Sting.
They should.
I remember that reminds me because I was watching a video and he was watching. It was a Cultaholic one. And they were ranking pay-per-views from one of the '90s years, and 1, 2, 3 Kid and Lord Humongous were teaming, and he called him the 1, 2, 3 Sid, which makes me chuckle.
Nice.
And I love that.
Satnam Sting.
Yeah, they should. Yeah, like that's funny.
That's who should have been dressed up as Sting instead of the other dude. The big reveal.
Yeah, Cole Carter. Oh yeah,
the legend Cole Carter.
And they still think it's Sting,
even though he's like 7'4".
Yeah,
Tony still does it. It's Sting.
It's just like it's like it's Satnam Sting.
Yeah, they missed it there. That could have worked.
Next we get Anthony Bowens versus Swerve Strickland. So Clay make their entrance, rap from Caster, blah blah blah. Then they play their new music video featuring Captain Insano.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool. I'm not even gonna bother taking notes on it. Check it out. It was very nice. I
I
liked
had a
it.
few things. They were lots of shots at Keith Lee, more so. Or sorry, there's more shots at Swerve, and I guess because he's the heel. So
Sneaky Swerve.
there was Keith Lee looks like Cleveland Jr. from like Family Guy, right? Swerve
I caught that. That was
making
nice.
fun of Swerve for taking lots of selfies with like D-list celebrities or something like that.
Yeah, all his rapper buddies.
And something about how can you be a rapper when you can't really rap, sort of thing. And basically that's and like Swerve's a media whore is what he was saying, right? Like you'll do anything to sort of put yourself out there, and you're not really talented. So yeah, that was the gist of it. But
Yeah.
it wasn't as good as Buck
It was
Hunt.
good, but nothing
But
tops Buck Hunt.
Buck Hunt was,
Legendary.
and that was when acclaimed weren't really a big deal, and we're like,
That was
that's my segment of the year,
that
right?
flipped
That
the
was,
switch for
yeah.
me. Yeah, that was.
But I still thought this
legendary.
was really entertaining.
I'll take any music video from them. It's always entertaining.
It was lengthy, but the guy they had chosen to be their like dollar store Swerve was pretty funny, right?
He looked a lot like Swerve, at least with like they had like a robber mask on. Like it looked pretty good.
Yeah, it was entertaining. I liked it.
Something notable is there's like Bowens hits like his guitar crusher looking thing. I don't know what he
Yeah.
calls it. They just say oh like drop from behind or whatever. Guitar crusher. Well, actually, his is more like a leg drop on the head. I feel like Omega, it's kind of like he kind of does like leapfrog or whatever over them, and it's just kind of like a bulldog face twister kind of thing. Like his leg's not actually really in play, if you know what I mean. Whereas I
do.
feel like Bowens,
But
it
Excalibur
kinda
should
is.
know what it's called still.
Yeah, he's in, like
He's the master.
the Juji Katami and the that's
Thrust kick?
them and the thrust kicks and the Juji Katami is like I can't sometimes. You know?
It bothers you.
The Juji
Pushes
Katami.
your buttons.
More so the
Makes me
thrust
laugh.
kick because it's like it's a super kick. Come on.
And it just feels like he chooses that term
Pretty liberally, right?
Yeah, when he
Like, or
feels
it's
like it.
is it because the Bucks is like the super kick party? Is it like
Everyone else's thrust kick.
yeah,
That's
everyone
their,
else is thrusting it and it's not that super? Is it
right.
like
I don't know.
it's like someone should do like a really bad super kick and call it the not so super kick, or like an extra good one and call it the super duper kick.
Yes.
Both good ideas.
Great.
There's a moonsault outside by Swerve. Neat. There's a rapid fire forearms and elbows to the head by Bowens, which is kind of one of the aspects of his hot tag flurry the other week.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. Olympic slam by Bowens for 2. You can tell he's kind of moving slowly throughout this match at times, or at least like not running as fast, which I did hear he like aggravated an injury in this one. So
Yeah, I tried to look into it, and it was nothing definitive. It's like either he was selling or he was
right,
re-aggravated.
but
so
he was definitely
hard to say.
moving a little slower here.
Mm-hmm.
There's a brainbuster by Swerve, and then he hits a house call for a near fall, which I always love that he just really nails it. It's crisp. Swerve sends Bowens' arm back and snaps it with his, or he bends it back, sorry, and then snaps it back with his foot. It was really gnarly.
good,
like,
yeah.
It was, like, that would make Penta happy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and he slapped somewhere to make a pop sound, right? So it sounded good.
Even though that's not the sound that would make, it
Still helps.
makes it feel like it's,
Yeah.
it is realistic, but it's not at
Agreed.
all in any way.
No.
Like, even a little.
I've had a tendon pop before.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite sound like that.
All right. There's Swerve stomp for a near fall. So Swerve goes for the house call. Bowens counters. Then Swerve avoids that by targeting the arm again, and then wins with a JML driver. Nice.
Yeah, I thought it was a solid TV match, and I'm like Swerve picking up that quality win, heel Swerve. And I always like injury and targeting of limbs and stuff, right? So I like the shoulder attack by Swerve, and I thought Bowens did a pretty good job of selling. Like, as you kind of pointed out, right? The pace wasn't quite as quick as you might expect, but I still enjoyed the match. Like, I hate saying that, but like I enjoyed the match for what it was. I feel like it's a cop out, but that's kind of how I feel here. Like, I thought it was a solid TV match.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was solid. I liked it. I thought Swerve looked good here. It's what I wish he would look more like in Toronto. When he did that move to snap Bowen's arm, I thought it looked really nice. Like just the snap there was very crisp. Also got to see all of his like kind of finisher moves.
He got to do everything.
Cool.
Yeah.
Which is good for him and also kind of makes Bowens look good. So that was cool. Bowens looks all here too, just not as good as usual, which makes sense if the rumors are to be believed that he did aggravate something.
Yeah.
But for Full Gear's sake, let's hope A, he didn't, or B, it's not that bad. But glad to see Swerve pick up a quality win here. Solid match. Coolio.
Yep, we like
Neat.
Swerve.
And no Keith Lee with Swerve, which kind of fuels the dynamic going on there.
Mm-hmm.
We get a Cargo Rose package, which I know we're all loving.
Just further building this.
Lovin.
Yeah.
Cargo talks about all she's done and says nobody can do anything about it when Rose stole her title.
My favorite way to set up a match,
Which
as we
Shivani
all
then
know.
talks about Rose getting contention by stealing, and then Renee talks about how angry Cargo was, which does make it sound stupid when Shivani's spelling it out for you.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure Rose got contention before that, or they laid out the challenge before she
Yeah.
stole it at least, and then she took the title. So it's only slightly less stupid, Tony. All right, give her the smidgen of credit.
Yep.
She's a vicious vixen, for God's sake.
She is.
Rose says Cargo thought she would run roughshod, and then she came calling. And Cargo says it ain't gonna be a game when she gets her title back. Well, good, because I didn't want them to play like chess or something. So I thought it was fine. Everyone spoke fine, but nothing great here. And Shivani kind of outlining how this all happened just really nails it home.
Yeah, I thought they both spoke well, and I don't really think Nyla needs Vicky to speak for her. She does a good. I've liked her the last several times she's spoken, but this is just a cold feud for me, right? It's again that lame wrestling trope to sort of help set this thing
It's a
up.
mid-card heel feud that could have been. That's for a TV title, essentially, right? That's
Right.
kind of what the TNT and TBS titles are. So it should have been done on TV, and it should have been done weeks ago.
And it feels like Jade's the babyface a little bit, which is weird, and I don't think what they necessarily
But she doesn't
want.
even entirely act like a babyface because they're both heels, but she's the babyface of the feud, which it's really weird.
She's the victim of theft.
She's the babyface, but she's not very much of a babyface, so it really doesn't work that well.
And it's just been like quick, sporadic little stuff that it's not been an effective build.
I guess at the very least, it's like a continuous storyline in the women's division, so at least they get something. But like,
but does Nyla have a chance to
better.
win? Do you think? No, right? So, like, doesn't it really matter what you do? But you're not really doing stuff that interests me either.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a cold feud for me.
Next we hear Samoa Joe speak. Joe says, so Joe is with Shivani in the ring. He says Shivani says it's surprising what he did to Wardlow, but he asks, is it surprising for someone to refuse to be a victim and to take action? He says Wardlow ran his mouth for weeks and failed to recognize the most dangerous man in the room, and he says he refuses to sit around and wait to be a victim like most in the locker room. And he is saving himself, unlike anyone has done for themselves. And if anyone has a problem, they can take it up with him. Cue Hobbs music, and he comes out. He interrupts, says Joe's a little late to the party. He's been the one kicking Wardlow's ass lately, more like busting his spine. And he'll kick Joe's ass too, or bust his spine. Before they can fight, Wardlow's music hits, and he comes out. Short story, a brawl breaks out, and then the locker room comes out for some reason to break it up. But here's why, because Wardlow takes out some security and then hits a Tope con Hilo on a big pile of people. So, yeah, I thought it was a good promo from Joe, because Angry Heel Joe is fantastic.
Yes, he is.
Much, much better, and this was very nice. I thought Hobbs was pretty solid, too. Credit where credit's due. This means we're getting that Haas fight 3-way that I had hoped for last week, which should be pretty sweet. Like, it's a minor match, but it's one of the ones I'm looking forward to more so on the show, which is interesting. The locker room coming out was a little odd, but seemed to just be there for a solid base for Wardlow's feet, which I mean, is kind of lame, but I mean, it was cool for him to do it, so that's all right. And I am looking for this quite a bit, like I said, and definitely more than Jarrett Sting nonsense, the
easily
TBS crap. Some of the matches on the show, like this, is probably one of my more anticipated ones, and it's not a major one.
No, I also love Angry Joe, and I think we both think Hobbs is really cool right now, and like. He should be annoyed that Joe's basically jumping the line, right,
it was,
to get to Wardlow.
It was very logical reasoning, which I think is sometimes the best promos we get.
Right, and same thing, like there's like 15 brawls a week on this show, and this is the one where the locker room empties, right? It just doesn't really make sense because this happens constantly, so I thought that was weak. But
especially like if it's these three large imposing guys, you really want to get in there,
right?
Like,
those are the three you're coming to stop Samoa Joe. Nope, he's the last guy I'm coming out.
Wardlow, who will just powerbomb everybody in sight. It's funny. Wardlow started being a security guy. I was like, Wardlow's back to his old ways, you know.
Yep.
He's gonna have more plaintiffs against him.
That's right, and so it's kind of interesting to me that after he was built so masterfully with MJF that like he's the least
Yeah,
interesting
you're
of
saying
the
that to
three
me.
for me.
I would agree with that because I think they've done a pretty good job with Hobbs. I mean, he has been kind of like less prominent since the Starks feud ended, but I think generally they did a really good job with him. And then Joe is obviously pretty interesting off the back of the recent turn.
And it's like they built Wardlow beautifully and then didn't have any plans once they built him. Like, here's how we'll make him a star, and then it's like we don't
I think
have
aside
anything.
from like a couple matches he's
Right.
had, right? It's like there's a lot of like squash open challenges, which I don't think does a lot for him.
Like him and Cage had a cool match, but it's not like the story
And I
around
mean,
it was that.
the match with Matt Taven elevated him to superstardom,
Always
but
does.
like it's that it wears off eventually because Matt Taven can only do so much on his own.
He's kind of disappeared, which is a shame.
It is a shame. I'm glad you said it,
Mm-hmm.
and I can take that clip out of context whenever I feel like it.
Yes.
Next we get a Britt Baker promo. Care to comment on anything she is wearing?
My note was her eye makeup says she's a heel, but her words say otherwise.
Yep. Baker said that in 3 years she went from a nervous girl to turn into a leader of this company. I do remember pre-Cool Baker. It was something. I remember her being
was not a fan, right?
in one of the, I think it was like Double or Nothing. There was like the trio with her and a couple others, and then that's when Awesome Kong came in.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, she didn't do a whole lot.
She wasn't great.
She kind of sucked.
No, she wasn't. We were not impressed.
And then she became cool.
Yes,
Baker
very
said
cool.
she became her own damn role model. Baker said she took the opportunity, she ran with it, and became undeniable. Baker mentioned that fans doing the DMD thing when she says her name, and she talked about how she wrestled. She may not have wrestled at Madison Square Garden and all that, but she wrestled at Daly's place in Jacksonville, and she was they were all there for a year when the fans couldn't come, and they kept it going. That's an era Saraya will never know.
And she got kind of emotional for that part, and I think
Well,
that
that's
was
legit.
Yeah, I think that was.
I think
all
that's
sincere.
the thing Moxley kind of has touched on a lot. It's like, and it's kind of a real thing. So I think
they've been there when times were really tough. So how dare you come in when everything's fine and act like
I
you're
like
saving
I
stuff?
like when they touch on that because it's something we all kind of watch
But it makes
through.
way too much sense for her role.
It's too logical. It's very right too.
Yes.
It's just
she's right about everything.
Baker said she respected Saraya fighting addiction, coming back from a horrible neck injury, and paving the way in this business. How much of a way did she pave?
I feel it's very much overstated, but maybe
I feel like
I'm
a bunch of
alone in
legends
that.
paved the way, and then it's like Saraya's like putting in speed bumps or something, or like filling in potholes, like doing little bits.
Yeah.
Like she paved part of the way, but how much
so.
did she really pave?
Yeah, not.
No.
No.
Baker said that this business owes Saraya nothing. I guess it owes her a new neck, but like, so she'll not let Saraya belittle Baker because Saraya is stuck in the past. Oh, Baker said she's the heart, soul, and pulse of AEW. Baker said if you think you're above that, you can get the hell out because this is Baker's house. I think that should be said to CM Punk.
Yeah.
So even though Baker is a great heel, based on what her and Saraya are saying, the heel-face dynamic is sorely misplaced. That being said, great from what we hear about babyface, but it was really logical, very, very right. Like I agreed with a lot she was saying. And it was stuff I agreed with on like a certain pale female air quote superstar. And like last week, this is better than what Saraya said last week.
Yeah, she was great here, but it left me a little bit confused, right? Because everything she's saying is right, and you have Saraya the babyface coming out, and all she does is talk about how amazing she is and how bad Britt is.
If Saraya was delivering this, it would be great. Like I think,
right?
Like, if Saraya were in the position to deliver this,
but it felt like in Saraya's brief promo coming up in the show, she was backing off being the way she has been since she showed up because
like she got scared off.
This doesn't feel like Britt. Again, I really liked what she had to say, but this is not a heel promo, so it was a bit confusing, right? For me, at least.
No, I agree. Next we get AR Fox and Top Flight versus Death Triangle for the AEW Trios Championship.
And I asked you at the time, did I miss something? Did they explain at all anything about AR Fox? And you're like, nope. Like
I barely know who
we're
he is
just
either.
all supposed to know, and I do from Lucha Underground and from even a bit of Evolve, and the crowd seemed to know who he was, but I don't think it's fair to assume that everybody does. So
I just recognize the name from the indies. Like I think I remember hearing about maybe it was alongside Leon Ruff or something, but I don't like. I know very little about him. Almost nothing, some would say.
And then you have a guy who's never wrestled a match in the company teaming up with people he's never teamed up with and walking right into a title shot.
has been injured for. This is Darius's return too, so
right, and it's immediate title shot. So like, I really want to see the match because I know it'll be cool. The match resulting
was good,
but the setup seems a little bit bizarre. But anyways, I digress.
Some notables. I mean, I'll say it paid off because Fox is like 90% of my.
He was really good in this. I thought you would like him.
He had the most.
He's been around forever, man, and he's had some really good matches.
He's kind of wearing like, I'd say his pants are kind of like Briscoe's, like not camo, but
yeah,
I took like kind of looks like he's an Iraqi sympathizer.
That fatigue sort of, Iraqi sympathizer, the greatest WWE phrase.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Some notables, Darius and Phoenix went back and forth of sorts at the beginning, like the flippy doodads.
There's lots of that, yeah.
There's a roll through cutter by Air Fox, which was really nice. Like he kind of rolled, I want to say it was Pac, he rolled him through and then just like right into a cutter. Very smooth. Moonsault off the post to that type of Fox. It was like Ricochet used to do, where it's like running off the apron and he's kind of like steps 1 foot off the side of the turnbuckles.
Yeah. And
then moonsaults the outside. So it's a really nice fluid.
It's like when people run up a wall and flip. It's just off the post and onto other people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a swan time by Fox for 2. It's like kind of a slow rotation, but really like heavy kind of landing.
Yeah, like not as graceful as some, but the impact looked really solid. Yeah.
And then Penta breaks the pin by just absolutely clocking him in the face.
We watched 3 or 4 times, like just kicking him in the. My note says Penta shows us how to break up a pin. Just kicked him in the face.
Just absolutely no remorse, just clocking him in the face.
Looked good.
It was really nice. Top Flight kind of like, so they have Pac in the corner. They just kind of like launch him into a cutter from Fox. That was really nice. Like I don't know,
looked good, yeah.
Something simple like that, you gotta love it. I just wrote Top Flight did a bunch of cool stuff. They just had a bunch of tag off instead. That was really nice. I wasn't able to know.
It's nice to see Darius looking good, right? Like he didn't look. I didn't notice any rust or any sort of botches or anything really, I don't think.
Right, and I kind of wrote in my notes, but like I remember saying before the match, like I don't even remember how he wrestles. But Dante's the one, like he's unique, right? He's got that like insane vertical, really unique athleticism. So he's kind of got his thing, right? Darius I don't think really has that, but he did get a chance to show out here, which I think benefits him.
Yeah, like Darius is an excellent athlete, but Dante is like a freak athlete, right? Like just next level.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Top Flight and Fox do consecutive dives to the outside. Don't remember what specifically, but each of them hit one.
Yep.
Dante does his usual thing where he just does the crossbody,
leaps onto the top rope and then just flies through the air. Yep.
There's a modified Spanish fly avalanche, won by Fox, who's kind of like reruns up. And he's kind of like not like a split-legged, but like kind of like legs bounce off the ropes, kind of like a seated springboard kind of deal.
It was cool.
And then he falls out the 450 splash for 2. Then the finish comes in. Lucha Bros hit their foot stomp package pile driver, followed by a black arrow, both on Fox for the win. Then after the match, we get a promo from Pac quick. He says if there are certain individuals who think they can make the triumphant return at Full Gear and best them, that's ridiculous. And they know who they are. Pac says they run from nobody, and Penta says Cero Miedo. Then a match graphic plays on screen. It's got like Death Triangle, Trios Championship. And then the Elite kind of phase in the opposite of what we've been seeing in the previous vignettes, where they kind of get dusted out. This time they're kind of like phased in, confirming the Trios title match. And Pac says they may think they're coming for Death Triangle, but they've been waiting for them.
Finally, some transparency or something like that, right? Yeah. Really entertaining match. It was my favorite on the show to this point, and I thought Darius looked really good in his return. They gave AR Fox a lot. Like this seemed mostly a showcase for him, right? For people to see he's really cool. So just like the full of the trios action that I love. So I knew this was going to be good and I enjoyed it, right? So and I liked the promo after by Pac. I thought it was very on brand for him, right? Like it's what he would say.
Yeah, I really liked it. It was short, but I don't know, there's something about it I really liked.
And it seemed like Pac and Lucha Brothers are back on the same page, right? Because there was a little bit of teasing of Pac was going heel or heelish, and now it seems like they're all united again.
What do you mean? He's just a bastard.
And the build for this has been super simple. Like one half of this match hasn't even spoken a word or anything, but for me, I'm more interested in this than a lot of other stuff.
I would
right?
even go as far as to say this is my most anticipated match.
I think so too.
Because just the people involved, it sells itself quite literally.
When we do the preview, I'll decide for sure. But I feel
Mhm.
like this is probably the one I'm looking forward to the
Yeah, I
most.
thought it was a great TV match because it was really fun and there was a lot of nice action in there. I think would have been a perfect opener opposed to what we got. Like that was a solid match, but I think this is a perfect opener.
Yep.
It would probably get the crowd hot, but I really
I would
liked
have
it.
preferred it.
I enjoyed this one more for sure. Death Triangle are always great, but AR Fox comes out of this looking really strong. I think they offered him a contract, so good for him.
Makes sense.
He did a lot of cool things in this one. Basically, all my notables are from Fox and Top Flight, which, I mean, kudos to them. They made the most of the time here, and I think that's really well done. At the beginning of the match, like I said, I joked I didn't remember how Darius wrestled, but he looked good in here.
He did.
Hopefully didn't re-injure himself again. Pac's promo after the match was great, pretty short, but it was really nice. Finally confirmed that trios match, and I think that has major match of the night potential if they really nail it. Maybe even late match of the year potential, depending on how good that
Right.
is. It has a lot of potential, I think.
So do you make it the opener because it can't be the main event?
I would actually.
So would I.
Kind of have the lead back, really hot crowd there. I'm super excited for probably like I said, my most anticipated match of the show because how could that possibly go wrong? Like Omega and Pac have had bangers in the past. Bucks and Lucha Bros have had bangers. I think they've done Bucks versus Pac and Phoenix, Pac and Penta. Phoenix versus Omega was great once. Phoenix versus Nick Jackson, Omega Penta. There's not a bad combination you can do there. Literally, I think it's impossible. Pooling it all together should be fantastic, and I don't think they've done that yet, right?
And because the Elite's been gone for so long, it's not even like, oh, we've already seen this before. It's just like, I just kind of want to see them back wrestling.
I don't even know if we've seen
regardless.
this before. Like, it feels like something they should have done before, but I don't know if they've done
No,
like
not like all three of them together.
No, I know,
but
like,
combinations of.
I don't even like. I feel like it's something that I feel like they should have done by now, but they haven't. So
Yeah.
I think that's great. I think it's a near lock that the Elite win in the return, of course, which
Right,
not to
so
spoil
I think they have to.
not to spoil later, but I can't decide for the life of me who I'd want to win because honestly, I could see merits for both.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll talk about that later, but I'm very excited for that. It's kind of where I was heading, but
Yep.
nonetheless, still and pretty ingenious build, I think, because like it's lit. Like you said, the Elite have not done
Not spoken.
anything to build to this. They
Right.
just randomly started the vignettes, and I think it was beautifully done. Like I think sometimes it's just needs simple work.
Less is more sometimes.
Oh, it was definitely more. Next we get Ricky Starks promo. And he says Archer got one up on him last week, and on this week on Rampage, he'll break him, and he doesn't talk in ifs, ands, or buts, or ifs, ands, or maybes. He talks in absolutes, or to quote Obi-Wan Kenobi, only a Sith Lord deals in absolutes. So, boom.
Right.
And he will beat Archer. Pretty first shot.
That is true.
So solid promo from Starks. It was pretty short. I wrote a whole thing about what they should do for the tournament. Now it's rendered null and void. So I typed out all that for no reason.
Yeah, Starks is always good on the mic.
Remember you were waiting? That's
I
what
was.
this is it. Now it means nothing.
It was super short at least, but like, again, like we talked about with Wardlow, they have cooled this guy off. He was so hot for a bit, right? And now like this bloated roster just means that whether you're hot or not, unless you're like top tier guy, you're going to be off of TV for like weeks at a time, possibly. So it's kind of hard to sustain the connection with the audience when you're sporadically on, right? Because they built this guy beautifully along.
Yeah, they built it to perfection
with Hobbs, and then it's just like he was gone and not doing anything. So I don't know. Like, yeah, it's odd to me. He's awesome, but he doesn't get on TV very much. So I don't know.
I don't remember the last thing he's done
No.
before this. I guess the lights out match.
And he did end up beating Archer on Rampage. I watched. It was fine.
And what's his reward?
One with the spear, I think.
The 0 hour.
That's right.
Why are they doing 0 hours now? What happened to the buy-in? Buy-in was cool. Okay, maybe you just do buy-ins for
like All Out for the gambling related ones.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Or like Double or Nothing and
Yeah.
like Revolution Full Gear, sure. I think I don't know. I wouldn't mind if they. I do kind of like that they just have like their 4 pay-per-views. That's what they stick to. But I wouldn't mind changing 1 or 2 up every now and then. Like,
yeah, I like the number they have for sure.
I do like that it's
Then
just
I
like
don't mind
4
paying
because it's
for them.
like it. You could kind of view it as like it's kind of one each season, right? Like
Yeah.
your kind of winter-esque one is Revolution, and then you kind of got your spring one, which is Double or Nothing. Then summer's All Out. Fall, like I kind of like that, and then you got like your TV special, which I think is a perfect formula. But that being said, like I wouldn't mind the odd like changing up pay-per-views. Like honestly, for me, I would only ever switch out Full Gear or Revolution, like because to me, Double or Nothing's the one that they've had. Like
Yeah,
it was the
that's
first one, so I think
right.
that one has to be the pillar. And then All Out is kind of like all. I don't know, for some reason, I would just keep All Out. I don't know, something about it. I just would want that kept. But I think Revolution is the most like generically named, so you could swap that out for something cool. Like, it doesn't even have to be like every time, but like even if like 1 year you do something else, I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Same for Full Gear. But anyways, that's a bit of a tangent there. But just I don't know, it would be interesting. I wouldn't mind if they change up because I mean I do like the format they have. Like
I do
the
too.
TV specials, but
I feel like it's not too many.
I wouldn't mind like the odd different thing now and then.
Yeah.
Like sometimes they have different kind of specials, but
yeah.
Anyways, speaking of the tournament, even though I wasn't, but we were.
At some point we were.
Yeah, Ethan Page versus Bandito, in the tourney semifinal. Cool.
Yep.
Hamilton boy, Ontarian.
Big fan of both of these guys.
Big
yeah.
Ontarian.
Correct.
Page cuts a promo. He tells the basic civilians to listen to him. He'll walk through Bandito tonight, and he'll become #1 contender on Saturday. It's next week. So.
What?
He said he'll become #1 contender on Saturday. No, that's not possible.
No.
I mean, good challenge. Starks has a history of taking impromptu matches after his matches and then losing.
Right.
So
he could
do it.
Yep.
He says he doesn't care if it's Mox or Max. He'll be the next champion at Winter's Coming, which I kind of liked. He's just making Mox and Max. Yeah.
Yeah.
Haha.
Almost the same. One letter different.
Yeah.
Clever.
Yeah. So commentary talking about the other side of the bracket with Starks and Archer mentioned that the winner faces Cage, but failed to specify where it'll be, which would have helped me because I literally had to wait till after Rampage to figure it out. So yeah, I mean, like really,
I don't know. I don't really care that much.
I do because I would have liked Ethan Page on the pay-per-view. Now he doesn't get to be on the pay-per-view.
But then we have something to look forward to on Dynamite.
Do you know what he did on last year's Full Gear?
No.
Want to guess?
No.
It was the big like American Top Team.
Oh God, yeah.
Inner Circle thing.
Fun. How I miss Dan Lambert.
Yeah. We all do, buddy.
Maybe he'll be back.
With
an MMA faction.
And Scorp.
So hot.
Where's Scorp?
Gone.
Did he just die after losing the TNT title? He's like
contract not renewed. I don't know.
Is it even worth living anymore? He just gave up.
Right.
Without, what was it? Genie. He called it or whatever. He called his belt something. I think it was like Genie or something.
If you say so.
Stalling vertical suplex from Bandito as he does.
Yeah, it looks crazy.
Or it's like kind of like it was like a slow lift kind of thing.
It was like not so much a stalling. It was like more of a deadlift sort of.
I don't even know if it was like kind of, I guess.
He's crazy strong. It looks crazy because Page is like another 50% bigger than him for these moves. But yeah, he's cool.
There's a moonsault outside from the top of the ring post by Bandito. He does like that twisting tornado thing for 2 and back in the ring. Page avoids the 21 plex. It's a rope step cutter for 2, which is pretty cool. He goes for the Avalanche Ego's Edge, but as I predicted, Bandito countered midair into a Hurricane Rana.
Looked nice, yeah.
Then follows the Gorilla Press Slam and a Frog Splash for near fall. That was a nice
one-handed Gorilla Press Slam of a 245-pound man or whatever he is.
Body slam from the top rope by Page, followed by a diving shoulder tackle, and the finish comes with an Ego's Edge for the win. Page is in the final, so that's good for him.
Yeah, it was a nice clean win for him, and I thought it was a good match. Like nice contrast in styles and a very clear heel-face dynamic that I always like. So Bandito showcased a lot, as he usually does, and Page is awesome, and that it seems like that shoulder tackle is becoming a signature thing, right? And it looks really solid, even though it's really simple.
It's as basic as it can get.
It's a little surprising Bandito loses so early on in his AEW career, but I don't really think a loss hurts him. People are just going to have fun watching him, I think, regardless of the outcome.
Until they have like more of a storyline plan for him.
Right, like I don't think it hurts him.
Right.
And it's nice because it looks like the sort of push of Ethan Page continues, and we fully support it.
I'm very happy with.
And I don't think he'll ever be the guy, right? But he's definitely capable of doing more than he has been doing since coming to AEW. So I thought this match was good. I would have loved for it to get even more time, but I thought it was a good match.
I think either way, Page wins the tournament because I don't see Starks or Cage winning it. And then I think either way works because the firm have been attacking Moxley. So if he wins, Page faces Moxley works. And if MJF wins and Page wins, then if it's not a ruse, Page faces MJF, and that's a feud. I think either way kind of lends itself to Page.
Yeah, it could be. It's probably Paige or Starks, I guess. I don't know.
I definitely think Starks is facing Paige.
I think so.
I don't see Starks winning the tournament though. I think maybe a month ago, yeah, but
Yeah,
no. Ethan Page is actually kind of hot right now,
he is.
which is surprising. Yeah, I thought it was solid. I thought it was a pretty good one, but it felt a little on the short side to me. I think these guys gave us a good one with the time they got, but I think they deserved a bit more. Bandito wants to get in some pretty cool stuff. Some classic, the flippy lucha stuff, and then also that impressive power spots that will get attention for him, which I think is really nice. Page looked pretty good again too. Again, the push of him continues, which I really like. He had like that nice trio of moves to finish, simple and effective. I'm still unsure how the rest of the tournament will play out, said me at the time. At least Page is in that final. Great for him.
Yep.
He definitely won't win the title, but I mean, I'm glad he's getting the spotlight at least.
Me too.
Feels right. Next we got Luchasaurus Jungle Boy package. You were saying about the Talking Heads.
Yeah, this is again Renee at least, right? And I don't know if there's anyone else.
I guess to be fair, it is a blood feud, but I don't know if we really
giving their opinions on what they think's going to happen.
I don't know how much I needed that.
No.
Highlights of the feud so far with the Talking Head from Renee saying it has to end in a cage because of the outside interference up to this point. Just needs to be these two selling it. And then we get like kind of sound bites of a previous cage promo. And Jungle Boy, not a previous promo, says one of them is a beast and one of them is a man, and this Saturday we'll see who's who. Well, considering one of them is supposed to be a dinosaur and one of them has begun using their real name, don't we already kind of know the answer?
But he's a boy, not a man, so neither one's a man.
Ah, plot twist.
Right?
Ah.
Yeah, I mean, this was fine. The cage stipulation is a logical finish to this feud, I guess, and I hope the match is good. The one they had when we were at Dynamite, I ended up liking it more on TV than I did live. So I'm hoping
I liked it.
I'm hoping this one delivers. They've sort of like this feud has been on and off kind of too, right? So I don't know. Hopefully the match is cool.
Wonder how
Should
long
be.
Cage is done for.
I don't know.
Christian, by the way, not Brian Cage.
Because then, I mean, are they going to go back to? They are, right? So this
Probably.
isn't even. I mean, this will end it with Luchasaurus, I guess. But I don't imagine it's done with Cage yet.
Yeah, but like I don't know how you keep stalling that.
I don't either.
It can only go on so long, and then like wouldn't it be weird if they come back? I guess Jungle Boy could just be waiting around if it's that bitter.
I guess.
But yeah, it was solid. Renee's bit was basic, but she delivered it well. Like she's good to have in these. It's just it's kind of frequent. And Jungle Boy's quick line was solid as well. Next we get Saraya interview. Saraya, so it's from early in the day, and she's with
Renee.
Renee
all
Paquette.
over the show.
Asking how she's doing. She said that she's feeling great. She chose to be at AEW. Lucky us. And she's tired of this back and forth talk. She says she'll see Britt on Saturday at Full Gear. It was okay. At least it seemed more like how an actual babyface would talk, because I did get everything there. I still don't care. I don't know why both of them kind of cut babyface promos here, but
yeah, she definitely backed away from the shameless self-promotion, I'm amazing, I'm a legend stuff here, whether that was always the plan or they're sort of getting feedback that
right, it's kind of like
she's not been likable at this point so far. So, and it sucks because like I don't imagine there's any universe where Saraya's losing her first match, right? And that kind of sucks for Britt Baker because it feels like she should win this to me in most ways.
I agree, but it's kind of like the Elite where it's inevitable W.
Yeah, it seems that way.
Mm-hmm. Next we get quick Kingston Ortiz Akiyama Takeshita package. Ortiz is saying he's been nervous being in there with Legend and Rising Star. Kingston talks about Akiyama's history, being a big Japanese wrestling fan, and then Takeshita says they'll show him DDT Pro style. So I thought it was a quick bit, but I'm just excited for the build, and I'm excited Takeshita's back.
Yeah, Kingston was awesome, and he made me more interested in this in the 30 seconds he got, because he is a student and a lover of Japanese wrestling of I think 80s especially, right, and 90s. So
Akiyama
I'm
era,
sure he is thrilled to actually face Akiyama, and I did watch this match. It was good. It was
okay for a Takeshita match. It kind of let me know mostly just because I want to see Takeshita.
It wasn't a ton of showcase for Takeshita in this, but
which disappoints me. But I mean, hey, there's a possibility he's on Dynamite.
Yeah, but Kingston cut an awesome little promo here as always.
Next we get technically our main event match.
Yeah, for sure.
We get Toni Storm versus Anna Jay. Like I guess you could brackets AS.
Mm-hmm.
in an AEW Interim Women's World Championship Eliminator.
Our one women's match this week, and
what
we
a
get
mouthful.
Anna Jay.
Yeah. They need to, like...
so ridiculous.
I just want Toni Storm to be the champion just so I don't have to say AEW Interim Women's World Championship ever again.
You don't have to say it. You
I
choose
do.
to.
It's the interim title, okay?
Sure.
I have to say it, goddammit.
Okay.
You don't want to know what happens if I don't say it, all right? Like, if there was Thunder Rosa, I don't have to say it because then you're not supposed to, but I have to.
Feel free.
It's a requirement. It's my job.
It's almost 1 a.m.
That's
you
what
can
I get
say
paid.
Whatever you want.
That's what I get paid big bucks for.
That's right.
You know?
Big bucks.
Mm-hmm. It was a monkey flip by Storm. Later, a backstabber in the corner by Jay.
That was about the best thing she did.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, she's mastered the gory bomb, right? So.
Sorry, you mean the fire bomb?
That's right.
And she did that like crappy rolling kick, whatever that was.
And then she had to like scooch forward.
A clumsy tumble or whatever it was.
Because even though her legs are like incredibly long, she didn't end up close enough to kick, so she had to scooch forward to make contact. So it just killed the flow of this somersault into a kick.
I think the roll kind of killed the flow too, and then just the scooch was just like the icing on, the cherry on top, you know?
It was bad.
There's a hip attack to send Jay out the apron. Gory bomb on the outside by Jay after sending Storm in the steel stairs. That was probably the best thing.
It was. And then a gory bomb immediately after that.
And a gory bomb in the ring.
In the ring, yeah.
For 2. Storm wins eventually with the Clover Leaf submission. So, cool. Then there's a stare down with Hater. Not a lot there. This is meh. Anna Jay continues to be not that good. And at least 1 or 2 things she kind of messed up. This is our women's match of the week once again. And it was just kind of there. Short, not great. Storm didn't get a ton in either. The post match was quick, so it was fine. This is our last match of the show, which is kind of, no.
I say it every week. Like, well, this was a pretty flat, I thought, 7-minute match with like a D-list talent, and it had a 3-minute commercial break. I don't think Tony Khan respects women's wrestling. I think it's getting to that point, right? Like, this is what you put on, and it's great to give Anna Jay like time and chance to gain experience, but like, where's Serena Deeb, man? Like,
I thought Omega was running. I guess he's been kind of gone for a while, but like, even like this, it's not a new issue.
What does running that mean? You plan one match and like 2 week little segments a week? Like, there's not much planning that going into this clearly by anybody.
Like, I don't care if it's an actual woman or if it's someone backstage, but like, they need to have someone actually take charge of this and do something about it. Or give them their own show. Like, you have 2 dark shows. We don't need 2 dark shows.
No.
Like, I know it wouldn't be as big of a platform, but honestly, giving the women their own show, even if it's a YouTube one, I think would honestly do them some favors. Like, at least it's a solo spot, like, they would get some solid time on there.
They need to do something because it's bizarre.
I think not only we need an ROH show, but you need something for the women. If you can't give them enough time on the main show, then that's fine. Give them something where they can get the time. Because honestly, like, it's not even like some weeks maybe they'll have less time, which is fine. But it needs to be more consistent with like, you get more here. If there's only one match, make it worth our while. You know? Like,
at least.
And I don't know. We really need a millionth Blackpool Jazz match.
And I was telling you, Mercedes Martinez came back on Rampage without her title. No mention of her being a champion.
She's still Ring of Honor Women's Champion. So
is she? Sure didn't feel like it.
Like,
there was
is
no
that
mention.
Ring of Honor giving up on another women's title?
Kind of felt like it.
Because remember they had the Women of Honor title before Roxy won the new one. So like,
I'm pretty sure they did not mention that she's the champion, and you would think they would because she's been off TV for months. But anyways, women's division is not good.
How many times I forget and remember that she's had a title?
Yep.
Her and Thunder Rosa.
And I like her.
Yeah, her and Thunder Rosa. I just keep going like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thunder Rosa has the title.
Thunder Rosa will come up in my Highspots and Restholds from a weird location. Tease that for you.
Huh. I saw Storm saying that if she's out much longer, she should be stripped, which I concur.
Yeah. And
then just make her the full champion. Or if Hater wins, just be like...
Don't think so, but...
Just be like, interim? What?
Yeah.
You know? Then we go to our main event segment.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Never my choice to not have a match, but
Moxley and MJF.
My thing was, if you're gonna end with a segment, you can't make a better choice than these 2 guys, right?
Especially
Pretty
MJF.
much so.
I feel like didn't he and Punk do this once?
Probably.
I mean, he who shall not be named.
Right. So a segment to end the show this week.
So yeah, I just wrote like I guess we're getting a main event segment. Never my preferred route, like you said. But I don't remember the last time they've done this, so at least it's not like
And at least it's for a
overdone.
big fight, right?
Yeah,
So
and like I don't remember when the last time they've done this. So Mox has said he's the AEW World Champion. He says the best professional wrestler on planet Earth, the baddest son of a bitch. He talks he talks crap and backs it up. Moxley talked about taking on all comers. He's defying the AEW title. Moxley said loving the fight is not a good thing. He's sick in the head and he's addicted to the fights and the pain. But he said he loves it. Moxley said you can't hurt him because he literally doesn't care. And he says last week he asked who MJF really is. He said he did some research and found out that MJF's actually a really good singer. I'm not sure what that reference is. Oh yeah, Jericho's on Masked
because
Singer.
he was in like the Glee Club in high school or whatever. I'm pretty sure.
And the Dinner
Then
Debonair.
yeah, that's why he did that. Because he
Uh,
had experience singing.
Jericho's on Masked Singer.
Yes.
So
Cool.
Moxley also mentioned that MJF only has won one match in the last 6 months when he beat Moxley's young boy, I guess referring to Yuta.
Yep.
I mean, technically he won the casino ladder match. I mean, he didn't do anything, but
No,
technically he won it.
Yeah.
You mentioned MJF taking a summer vacation. Kind of did, actually. That's funny. Moxley said MJF came back wearing a mask and somebody handed him a poker chip and the worst ladder match I've ever seen. Now he's got a shot at the world title. Moxley said forgive him if he's not exactly shaking in his boots. Moxley talked about MJF prepared speeches, handpicked opponents. Man dripping insecurity of kid playing wrestler because he's in fear that he won't live up to the hype. Moxley said you'll see the world champion do what he does best. And he talked about how he's challenging MJF to show Moxley something like proving he has guts and balls. And Moxley wanted MJF to show that he is the future of the industry. And then we have Stokely Hathaway coming out, leading the firm down, and they beat down Moxley and Regal. Actually, they went after both of them.
Don't understand that really, but okay.
Because they don't like Mox, or they're also trying to piss off MJF, I guess.
I guess. Yeah.
Because his bestie Moxley.
And it's just this like B, C list faction getting involved in the main event. Which
don't say that about Ethan Page.
But yeah, anyways, it happened.
And don't say that about Austin Gunn.
Right.
Just Austin. Not the other one. MJF comes down and makes a save, taking out some of the lower tier ones, which is the Guns and Moriarty. He did club Moriarty pretty good. Morrissey grabbed MJF by the throat. He low blowed him. Page missed and hit Morrissey with a boot. MJF low blowed Page as well. Took him out of the ring. MJF told the firm to get out of Connecticut before he takes his boots and shoves it up their ass. Next he spoke to Moxley, who was down, saying he didn't save his ass because he likes him. He said he did it because he didn't want any of the Blackpool guys making excuses for Moxley when MJF knocks his lights out. He said no ring necessary, looking at Regal when he said that. He said when he got in the business, his ultimate goal is to be the best wrestler in the world, and he said to do that he needs the title. He talked about he's not the same person when they fought the first time, which was All Out 2020. He said he will not stop because he needs the belt more than food, water, and oxygen. MJ said when you're the man that holds the title, makes you the best on God's green earth, and it's his time. The fans cheered for that. MJ said the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he doesn't exist. TGR wrote The Usual Suspects is a great film.
It is a great film.
You were mentioning.
I was telling you.
MJ told Mox this Saturday at Full Gear, you're going to find out that I'm the devil himself because his name is Maxwell Jacob Freeman, and he's better than you. But Mox kind of cuts him off, taking the mic. And he says he never really saw what the big deal with MJF was. Mox said this weekend at Full Gear, we're going to find out. And if MJ can't find himself, Moxley will reach it into him and pull it out because that's his job, referring to guts. Moxley said this Saturday. Mox corrected himself with that, if you remember.
Yep.
The training wheels come off. Moxley was about to leave, but instead, he kind of stood. He did like a stare down when Regal stood in the background, staring at MJF too. Walked out of the ring, bumping in MJF with Regal leaving with him, and MJF was alone in the ring. And that's it. That's over.
Yeah, I didn't think Mox was up to his normal standards here. I thought, especially like before MJF spoke, Mox was off. I don't know what it was, and then the firm attack, whatever happens all the time, seemed kind of strange, and they kind of looked like geeks. They were so easily like dispatched of by MJF. And then I thought MJF was really good. His tone was back to being a heel this week, which just feels right. I don't know why they keep sort of experimenting with multiple heels not being heels and then being heels again. Like, I don't know what this trend of like heels cutting
Right.
babyface promos is, but he felt back to normal here, I thought, and I thought he was really good. Yeah, Mox kind of seemed to be going through the motions. MJF brought some intensity. The firm stuff seemed pointless. Unless, I mean, they could be turning it. MJF was behind their involvement here, right? I guess. I didn't actually love this segment. I don't feel I would have put it as the main event, and I don't think it added much to their match coming up. To be honest, you?
Mhm. I thought it was pretty good. I don't think it should have gone on last, but I think it's pretty strong. I thought Mox was solid, but like I said, maybe a little less good, but I thought it was pretty solid. And I do like that he always does sell the AEW title pretty high. Like, I think he was talking about elevating it. I think even talking about it in such high regard, it does kind of elevate it a bit, which I think they generally keep this prestige of that pretty good. Firm was fine, but they were basically just there to bump for MJF, which was fine. MJF also kind of elevates the title, just talking about how much he wants it, so that's not bad. And he was more heel here, which I like, because obviously that's much better. Ended well too. I thought I'm definitely looking forward to this a lot. I'm still unsure what MJF's gonna do here. Like you said, could turn heel,
Yeah.
could like reveal that this was all a ruse. Like, I hope, and that I'm kind of calling. But then it's kind of weird if Paige wins a tournament. Anyways, should be a good match.
Yeah. Overall, I thought in terms of a go home show, this was good, but not great. The opener was a little underwhelming for me. Segment wise, I liked the Acclaimed video, right? But nothing else was amazing. Like the main event segment, I thought under delivered a bit. Other matches, Swerve Bowens was good. The women's match was nothing really. And then the trios match was probably my favorite match on the show. So there, Paige Bandito was also enjoyable, right? So, and then like no segments really stood out to me. So kind of feels like, I don't know, I would say I'd give this show a B. Like, it was good, wasn't amazing. Nothing I say you need to go out and see. Like the trios match is definitely worth watching, but yeah, I would say a B, almost a B plus, but a B show for me this week.
Mhm.
You?
Yeah, I'd say it was a pretty solid show. Like, I think the matches generally delivered, other than women's.
Yeah.
Like the trios match was my favorite of the show. I thought it was pretty good. And the opener was solid. What else was there? There was the tournament match. I thought that was pretty good too, and the women's match was fine. I think generally those are good. I think like the Acclaim music video was pretty good. I thought the Joe promo I really liked.
Yeah, it was good.
That was good. But then you had stuff like the Darby thing, don't care. Cargill didn't really care. Um, and then the main event segment was good, not great. And Sarah and Baker were solid. I think generally it was a pretty good show, but I'd say like a B.
Yeah.
Is fair.
Yep. All right, well, we'll end that and we'll transition into talking about some wrestling trivia in our segment called Off the Top of His Head. All right, since his return is rumored to be sometime in the not too distant future, and I found some stuff on him, we're going with Randy Orton trivia, which seems a bit weird and random.
Wait, he's coming back soon?
There's talk that he's like not too far off from, but then I also saw it wouldn't be back at all in 2022, but I guess that's almost over, right? So that makes sense. So first question about Randall Keith. Where's he from? Billed from?
St. Louis, Missouri.
Correct. What branch of the military did he serve?
No clue.
Think about it.
No,
He was in a movie called
Marine.
There you go. How did his time with the
Cena was in those, or DiBiase Jr.
He was. But Orton was in, I think, the first one, or first two, or first 7. There was like 29 of them or whatever. How did his time with the Marines end?
I don't know.
He received a bad conduct discharge in 1999 when
Randall never.
went AWOL and disobeyed orders from his commander.
Randall would never.
What title did he hold twice in OVW?
Tag?
No, hardcore title. I was surprised by that.
I'm surprised OVW has a hardcore title.
He just celebrated how many years with WWE?
25. 20.
20. In that
20.
time, how many world championships?
13.
14.
14.
Yep. And tag team titles?
Let me think.
Go ahead. You may think. And then I'll get into more specific matches and stuff.
3.
4, what I'm told here.
Nuts.
Why was he kicked out of
Wait,
Evolution?
that's right now.
Why was he kicked out of Evolution?
Won the world title.
Correct.
And Triple H is a little biatch.
So now more specific. Which WrestleMania did The Undertaker defeat Randy Orton?
21.
21, correct. And that took Undertaker to what record? Do you remember?
Not even a little.
13-0.
Sounds right.
Randy Orton won the Intercontinental Championship at Armageddon 2003. Who did he defeat
RVD.
for his first title? That is correct. And who was the guest referee? Mick Foley.
That makes sense.
What year did Randy Orton win the Money in the Bank ladder match?
2013.
He defeated, Christian, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, etc., etc. He has won the Royal Rumble twice in his career. What year was his first Rumble victory?
2009.
Correct. Who did he eliminate last? Do you remember?
Trips.
Correct. Very good. Who did Randy Orton lose to at WrestleMania 28?
Was it 1 or 2?
It was a match
Punk?
that received a
Was it
1.75 star
Okay.
rating. Yes.
So I knew it was either Kane or Punk.
Yes, it was.
I think Punk was 27. So my bad.
Randy Orton won the World Tag Team titles with Edge in 2006. Who did they defeat to win the titles?
Oh, Flair and Piper.
That is correct. Who did Randy Orton last eliminate to win the 2017
Roman
Royal
Reigns.
Rumble? Correct.
I remember
How do you
that.
remember that?
Because that was the first Rumble I watched. I remember Reigns went for a spear, got caught with an RKO.
And who?
Also, from anywhere from 2016 to like 2020, the safest bet for runner-up is Roman Reigns, or in the
Right.
final 2 is Roman Reigns.
He went on to defeat who at WrestleMania 33?
Wyndham Rotunda.
Correct. Who did Randy Orton defeat to become World Heavyweight Champion for the first time at SummerSlam in 2004?
Well, you know I can't answer that.
You can't say that name?
Chris Benoit.
Correct. How old was Orton when he won the World Heavyweight
24.
Championship to become the youngest? 24. Who was the youngest before that?
I
At
don't
25.
know. Was it Benoit?
No. Guy that's still there sometimes.
Was it Trips or
Brock
Michaels?
Lesnar.
Lesnar. World Heavyweight? No, he held the other title. That's not fair.
They lumped them all together. I don't know how many times you need to see evidence of
But
that.
you
No one
say a
separates
different
them
title
like
every
you do.
time.
I know. Last one. Randy Orton made his WWE debut in 2002, April 25th. Who did he defeat in his debut?
Why do I think it was Bob Holly?
It was Bob Holly. I don't know why you'd know that, but I was hoping to catch you on that one.
Sounds like something that Bob Holly would do.
Nice. All right, well, that wraps up a pretty quick trivia segment, and we'll move into sort of what we liked and didn't like about anything else we watched this week before we do a quick preview of Full Gear. So let's move into talking about some of the week's high spots and rest holds. All right, so I did my usual. I watched NXT, I watched Impact, and then I watched one other thing, which is where I'll talk about Thunder Rosa near the end of it. But NXT overall, I thought was pretty mediocre, so I'm not even going to mention a bunch of stuff because I don't think it was either anything great or terrible. It was just kind of mediocre. So, but I will say you'll be surprised by my first high spot. Probably it's the opening match of Braun Breaker versus Von Wagner. So I'm not saying it was a 5-star classic at all, but definitely over-delivered for me. They both kind of looked okay here. They worked really hard. I would say this is the best that Von Wagner has looked as far as I can remember.
Since the ladder match.
Right, which wasn't really him. So this was definitely more him. Totally respectable match, I would say. Good sign for Braun, right? Who this might be one more box he's checking before main roster. The fact that he can have a decent match with
a
a guy
notoriously not good.
with a guy who's not good. The finish was a little bit cheesy. It was like Wagner arguing with the ref for an awkward amount of time, and then like the cameras clearly zoomed in on him to show Braun like rise up behind him and put his straps down, and then there was a little bit of action before Braun won with the spear and retained after 13 minutes, but definitely over delivered. Like held my interest. I expected to be like second screening this, you know what I mean, and doing something else while it was on, and I actually didn't. So and then I told you a major rest hold, which is too bad, but I can't say I'm surprised, was Zoe Starks heel in-ring promo after turning on Nikita Lyons last week when they did not win in, I think it was their second shot at the tag titles, and she hit a really nice belt shot. But this promo was really, really long, and the audience checked out pretty quickly, and so did I. It was like she talked about how she got hurt, worked hard to come back, and then basically was like randomly paired with Lyons, was supposed to be in the main roster tag thing, right? But
right.
wasn't medically cleared.
So then they both got taken out.
So then Lyons was like, it's okay, no big deal. And Stark felt like that was basically Lyons implying she was the weak link, which is made her angry. She's done helping young talent. She hates the fans. Like all standard things that are fine to say, but she didn't do a good job saying it. It wasn't efficient either. It was a lot of far too long and not very interesting. It's too bad because I think she's really good in the ring, but this was like kind of tough to watch. She needs to have a mouthpiece, right? So now that she's heel, like put her with Von Wagner and Robert Stone and let him talk for her or something, right? I don't know.
Oh, don't make her go with Wagner.
But anyways, NXT Resthold just in general, and I've given this guy enough time now without saying anything. Booker T on commentary is awful. Like this show isn't that bad some weeks now, but he adds nothing. He's an overall minus on this show.
Yeah.
He's like, at worst, he's embarrassing and nonsensical, and at best, he's just not adding anything at all, right? There's no analysis or anything. He makes the product tougher to get through than it is. So just in general, Booker T, no good. Highspot was another JD McDonough who just keeps putting on awesome matches, right? This one was with Apollo Crews. Not his JD's best match in NXT, but still really good. He got slammed onto the announce table at one point. He hit his really sudden Spanish fly, and just like a good back and forth match. Crews, his finisher is like a choke slam, spine buster, kind of. Like, I don't know, he picks him up really high and
like
then
Lashley.
Just slams him down. Yeah,
or like Joe Hendry.
Kind of like that, yeah.
Standing ovation.
So he won in 14 minutes. So a really good TV match. And like I said, JD McDonough I'm really liking his character work too, but his matches are really good, but he doesn't seem to win a ton. So I'm hoping at some point they heat him up.
I miss Jordan Devlin.
Because I would love him in the NXT arena as well. Or sorry, the North American title arena would be cool as well. Like he could, any title, to be honest, he's awesome. Resthold is more script stuff. So now Scripps announces that he or she has made it into the building. So, like, this has gone from you left creepy voicemails,
which they aired,
which they put on the air. You were painting graffiti, which they caught on camera and put on the air. You took over the Tron and the stadium audio last week, and they included that on the show. And now they've announced they've infiltrated the building, and officials have done nothing.
Which they aired.
Right, they've done nothing other than try to put this on TV, so it's just like, for me, it's too much suspension of disbelief, right? Like there's 16 things piled up here that would never happen if this were real, and that's just too much for me. So I know they tried to do something cool, and this week, like, the promo was rhyming, so it was like poetry, and it was just not good at all. Another rest hold for me. The last thing I'm talking about in NXT, because I didn't love or hate much on it, was the last woman standing main event. I didn't really enjoy. Like, I thought it was fine, but it's nothing special, right? And it was a stipulation match, and it's supposed to be like the final end to this Fire and Rose thing that's going on. And the finish was just kind of lame because I think you saw, right? Isla Dawn showed up, and like,
I did, yeah.
I know who Isla Dawn is. I watched UK and reviewed it, and I liked Isla Dawn, but I don't think. Like, do you think she's a big enough name to have as a surprise?
I don't think it matters a whole ton. It's just like another kind of bringing UK star over, but I don't think it's like as much of a deal as like Dragunov or even Gallus.
No, not. Yeah, I guess so. Like, Gallus isn't thrilling either.
At least
but
it's like
they're
a
bigger
faction,
than. They were definitely higher profile than Isla Dawn, and I think she's cool, and I thought she looked cool here. But it's just like, I don't think enough of the crowd
might as
know
well
who
be
she
like
is.
a new,
right?
You know.
So they're just refusing to put the belt on Alba Fire at this point, and there's nothing else she needs to do developmentally. So she needs, if you don't want to make her the champion and have her work with some younger talent, just let her go.
They need to get off of Rose because she sucks, and I'm getting afraid that she's gonna outlast Baszler.
She is. They love her. I don't know what it is, man.
I don't want that. I can't mentally take that.
So the match was kind of just disappointing. Did you want to talk about what you had,
Yeah,
and then I'll do
I only have
Impact?
a couple because not like it's like a slow news week, but there's not a lot that's interesting to
Right.
me. Kind of a minor high spot, which is I watched a bit of the Rollins segment with Lashley, and I don't know, I thought he was really good. He just kind of looks funny with the glasses, and he's been doing good lately. I'm
Yeah.
happy
I
he
hear he's
finally
the
got a
only thing
title
on Raw
again.
worth watching at
Rollins
this
is
point.
more. I've been preaching my boy all year, and
Yep.
I mean, while it was largely to no avail, finally I don't look like an idiot.
Right.
And then the other one was they kind of improved Theory's presentation
Yeah.
on Raw because they majorly crapped the bed last week, and I mean like on all fronts.
Here we go. Yes.
I will go on about that forever.
You will.
Because that was just the dumbest thing they've ever done. But he did kind of explain why he cashed on the U.S. title, which was fine because it was like, and like they kind of showed it too, like where because remember he tried to at SummerSlam, he just got like obliterated. Like there were times where he like almost cashed in, but like, so I get that, but still not how it works.
I guess it is now.
It's not though. They said that, and I know for a fact that's not how it works.
Just how it works.
So
though.
he's just he's an idiot, I guess. But then he also it was kind of more serious. He beat the crap out of Ziggler in a match, like I think went to a no contest or whatever, like a DQ or whatever.
Yeah.
He just kept smashing him on the announce table, which sounds wrong now. I'm saying it like that, but he beat up Rollins too, and kind of stood over him with the title. So like at least some more serious. I don't know, maybe a shift in character for him. I don't know, but at least it was. They did try to recover from last week, even though it was
Triple H clearly isn't as high on him, right?
A major, giant, colossal Mondo Duke,
right,
of a booking decision.
Yep. Is that all you had?
Indeed, sir.
So Impact Wrestling, you actually watched a bit of Impact this week.
Did I?
So you did, because in some bizarre twist of fate, it's on our cable package now.
And this week's too, right?
So despite it never being before, so a bit of a Resthold and a high spot. I'm hedging a little bit. Was the X Division opener, so it was Black Taurus and PJ Black in the semifinals of the X Division tournament.
Justin Gabriel.
So the match itself was kind of underwhelming because there's been like a pretty good run of X Division openers lately,
right.
But the high spot for me is that Taurus won clean and pretty quickly. It was only like 6 minutes, so he makes the finals, which is cool because I hope they put the belt on him because it feels kind of fresh, right? Trey winning doesn't feel like anything new at all. And Taurus is like, every now and then, they need to remind everybody that the X Division isn't a cruiserweight title, right? Because it kind of gets caught up in that.
It does, right? Yeah.
So every now and then
he's kind of like that guy.
Right, like Samoa Joe, right? It's not about weight limits, about no limits or whatever, right? Like, so I think
Didn't they try to put a weight limit on it once?
I don't know, probably. Even though Taurus can do like lucha stuff, he's a bigger guy, right? So I just love his style and think he's great. I just wish he had somebody to speak for him that wasn't Decay. You know what I mean?
Is he still?
Yes, like Crazy Steve came out and introduced Crazy Steve.
Crazy, yeah, that's what I like to call him, Crazy Steve.
So he came out with a new look.
Because isn't it Death Dolls though? So it's like, is it even Decay anymore? Like, do we know? I don't even.
I'm pretty sure because it was Crazy Steve, and I think the Decay Tron was still playing, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so maybe Decay is just a tag team now, which I guess that's maybe
Crazy
better.
Steve looked kind of cool actually. His new look.
I saw him. He looked pretty similar though.
Similar, but a little bit different.
Okay.
High spot, the championship title contract signing between Josh Alexander and Kazarian.
Did someone go through a table? Oh wait, no, I saw it. It's not that kind of thing.
It was actually done fairly straight because they're both baby faces and lots of respect. But I'm securing my legacy and lots of respect and no one I'd rather retain against, etc., etc. And then it got a little intense because
with the wives,
Josh Alexander's wife said something, and Kaz ended up saying something sort of disrespectful to her, and Alexander
am I right?
Alexander jumped up and was doing the whole like, think about what happened the last time someone got involved with my wife, referring to the moose stuff, I guess, right? So they got like intense for a bit, but cooler heads prevailed, and there was no one going through a table, which was nice. I don't know, the like audio quality and look of this wasn't good, but I thought like guys
it looked very like it could look no offense, but look kind of indie.
Oh, you know? Very much so. But I thought like what they said and what they did was good. A Resthold, I almost put it as a high spot because it made me laugh and I thought it was funny, but because it's not what they were trying to do with this segment, I made it a Resthold. So like the whole thing with Bully Ray, right, and Josh Alexander is like that you can't trust Bully Ray, and all of
But
these
he's trying to like kind of do the
like he
opposite.
like trying to prove he's trustworthy. So all of these people keep telling Josh Alexander that he can't be trusted. So I think it was just after the contract signing. It's another segment where Alexander and Kaz are backstage, and Kazarian's hitting him with the whole like you can't trust him, blah blah blah, right? And then Josh Alexander, and almost verbatim, right? Like I'm paraphrasing slightly,
Okay.
but this is basically what he said. Goes because he's like Kaz like you can't trust Bully Ray, and Alexander goes, why does it even matter? Since when do I need to trust my opponent, right? And you're like 100%, boom, this angle is destroyed, right? Like you're so right that it makes all of this the last few weeks like completely meaningless and going forward. But even though he is completely right there was a spot, a little segment later where Alexander does like he actually comes out and saves Bully Ray to end the show, kind of thing, right? So, but
That's
I thought
funny.
this was hilarious. It's like you're like, yeah, why does it even matter?
I mean, obviously you wouldn't want like a sneaky cash in again, but like, what are you gonna do about that?
Right? Like I don't assume I can trust
He
people
can't
that are
trust
looking to take
moves.
my belt,
Couldn't
right?
trust moves.
It's
Like
no different than anyone else. But it's been like weeks of this.
you
Like,
can't trust Kaz. Well, you
can you
can't.
trust him? He seems trustworthy, but everyone says I can't trust him. It's just
Dreamer is the one who would need to
so
worry.
he kind of ends up looking dumb because he points that out and he's right, but then he ends up still going like, "Can I trust you?" He goes and asks Tommy Dreamer if he can trust him, and Tommy's like, "Yeah, you can trust him." And then he comes out and helps him. Anyways, it's dumb. Um, a high spot
That
for
is
me,
amusing.
and I told you this already. I sort of ruined it, but like one team clearly did not belong, but it was the 4-team
Oh yeah.
match that was
I
on.
remember. I saw that, and then when you
So
told me,
it was
I
Motor
like,
City
yeah.
Machine Guns. Cool. They're still really fun to watch.
New tag champ.
Bullet Club, which is Bay and Ace Austin, which I love as a tag team. Aussie Open, who are one
I
of my
love
favorite
Aussie
tag
Open.
teams. And then Raj Singh and Mahabali Shera are the other team. So any parts, honestly, of this match involving those guys were the low points. Like, I think Singh is like fine in the ring. Shera is still bad. And it's not like if they're like, he's only been wrestling for a year or two, I'd be like, okay, he can do basic big man. He's been wrestling for a decade or more now, I
Oh
think.
really?
I think it feels like it. Long enough
Ring
to not be
kicking.
bad. Right. Long enough to do more than super basic stuff. But anyways, about probably halfway through this, it was kind of like their time was done and everybody else got to work, and then the pace picked up and it was actually really good. I think I told you there was a power spot with Davis where he like hit a
Yeah.
one-arm power bomb while sort of holding the neck of another guy and then like threw him overhead.
Right.
So it was cool. Anyways, good match. And Ace Austin ended up hitting the fold. I forget to who, but he picked up the win for Bullet Club, which I think is a good move. You saw a little bit of my next Resthold. The Jessica storyline continues. So she showed up right to
throwing
save.
like Shane McMahon level punches.
So Taya beat Tasha Steelz clean in like 3 minutes. So first of all, I think R.I.P. Tasha Steelz push at all.
Yeah,
Right?
wasn't she champion?
Yeah. And then so beat down after the match with Savannah Evans and Tasha Steelz. So Jessica's like, oh, is she gonna come because she's a drunk now and she was out partying in Las Vegas?
That's what it's like to be like a face.
And shows up with like one of those helmets with beer cans on
Yeah,
either
that was
side
lame.
and
I
a
was
straw.
like, really?
So just really like not interesting stuff at all. And then another rest hold for me was incredibly out of shape Tommy Dreamer. He lost in a match to Macklin, which I agree with the result, but a really slow, plodding, exceptionally basic old school rules, which is just Extreme Rules, and was really boring. Macklin won with, I guess, what's his new finisher, which some sort of just a DDT instead of the Mayhem for All, which I thought was kind of cool. So I don't know why they switched it, but so he did that onto a bunch of chairs and won in 8 minutes. It was really boring. High Spot, I actually watched again with you because I thought it was cool. Masha Slamovich's first kind of sit-down interview with Gia Miller, and they did what we always wish that a lot of other companies would do.
I remember they did that with AOP when they returned with just before they united with Rollins.
Yeah, they let her speak Russian and use subtitles, and I thought it was awesome. She came across as like menacing and intimidating. She was insulting and intimidating Gia multiple times.
But it's like she didn't understand, I guess, maybe.
Right, and she came across just like a badass, which is how she's been presented so far. So I thought this fit really well, and I liked it. They're doing a really good job with her. She's awesome, and she's getting a rematch with Jordan Grace, which is my
Last
women's
knockout
match of the
standing.
year so far. So that match I'm looking forward to again. Resthold is just a quick one. Laredo Kid lost clean to Rich Swann in 3 minutes, and I think Laredo Kid's really cool, and Rich Swann is like, he just feels stale, right? Like that. There's
Right.
nothing interesting
I was
about
like,
him at
oh
this
yeah,
point.
Rich Swan's still around.
And
Like,
yeah,
I forgot about him.
Laredo Kid is someone I would focus on a bit more because he's kind of unique to them, at least in North America, it seems, and he's really good. So I don't
Right, because he
know,
only had like a few AEW showcases now.
and he's awesome. So I don't know what the point of this is, but anyways.
It's not like Bandito where he's signed now.
And then I said, my next note is ask you, what did you think of the double Jeopardy match? It was Sami Callihan and Eric Young, and the idea is it's a death machine double Jeopardy, so you have to be bleeding before you can be pinned or submitted. What did you think of the match? Definitely bloody. Like the mat was
Eric
covered
Young
in blood.
looked pretty cool,
Yeah, he was.
but it wasn't that interesting. Like it took a while to get weapons.
Yeah,
Pretty sure Eric Young got busted open on a Death Valley driver.
and they had an Extreme Rules match on this show already.
Yeah,
and this was a main event, like
then like
signature match of somebody that I don't know.
Then the weird cliffhanger after the match was Violent by Design, which was like also Alan Angels being like the least heel member of a heel group that
He
ever
does
existed.
not work as a heel, right? So yeah, they came out and it was whether. So Eric Young ended up losing the match, obviously, and then
It was like Diener looked at him. They were looking at each other
Diener
like they
and
were gonna
Connor.
beat him up,
right.
but then they did nothing.
So they're standing over Young to end
and
the
I was
show,
just like,
and
do anything.
you're left wondering if they're gonna support Young or take him out, and you never find out in the
Am
show
I
ends.
though? I don't really I don't
care.
think I was.
No. But yeah, Alan Angels does not look like a heel. He's not working at all for him. And then the only other thing that I was going to mention was last night, because I was up late and bored, I watched from Memphis Wrestling. They just put up their Grind City Rumble on YouTube. So it's actually from January, but it just like recently posted there. So I was watching it because they were billing Jordan Grace and Thunder Rosa in it. So let me tell you, I think this was a 30-person battle royal, not impressive at all, and no new star that I was like, wow, they're really cool. It was not impressive. But so Grace and Thunder Rosa, I would say, came in somewhere between like 10 and 15. And so they come in and end up clearing out a bunch of people. So it's just them. So then they wrestle, and they would be the only two anyone would be there to see, probably, right? Especially if they're watching it on TV or whatever. So they wrestled maybe for like 3 minutes, let's say, and then it was someone comes in and Rosa immediately eliminates them. Someone comes in, Grace immediately eliminates them, and then I forget what happened there along the ropes, and some other woman comes in and just eliminates them. So they were maybe in the match for like 5-6 minutes and maybe actually wrestled for like 2.5 minutes. So anybody that paid to come and see them, it was like clearly fine, we'll come and wrestle for you, but we're not working long and we're not doing anything dangerous.
Nice.
It was like the most basic, most non anything.
Like just getting names on the card kind of deal.
And I even forget who won. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, how it sound? It's kind of hard to remember indie names.
There actually was one. The girl that eliminated those two, I think her name was, I can't remember. She actually was pretty impressive. What was her name? Skyla? Anyway, she looked pretty good actually, but overall it was pretty weird. It wasn't very good. All right, so I guess we will move into, we're going to preview Full Gear at this point,
That is
right?
correct.
All right, so I'm going to put in some music here of my choosing, and we'll talk about tomorrow night's Full Gear. So I don't know what we did a preview of last, but I'm pretty sure I won, and we never talked about it again.
I didn't even tally it, and that's on me.
But I think I won the one before that. Anyways.
Blood money.
Let's talk about Full Gear. What do we got?
Not blood money. Regular, everyday money.
Wonder if we'll disagree on anything in this one.
0 Hour, which is Cage and Starks in the tournament semifinal.
I'll take Starks.
I'm going to go with Starks, too. I can't see it being Cage. No offense to Brian Cage.
Well, you need kind of that baby face to go against Page, it feels like.
Starks is kind of bigger. He's the
hotter.
Only other one that would maybe win, but I don't even think he's winning.
Yeah, and I like Cage and Page would be good in ring, but it's like heel when you can avoid that so easily. I think that they will.
And they're not really doing much with the heels like
no
TBS.
No.
We'll get there. I want to say I think I have everything. I don't think I missed anything.
It's fine.
They actually have a bunch of matches, so I don't. I'm pretty sure I'm good. So the Ring of Honor 4-way, which is Claudio, Guevara, Jericho, and Danielson.
I'll take Danielson because it's Danielson.
I was
He's my
kind
boy.
of feeling the same way. I don't know why, but I was like,
I think he needs
I could see
some
something
sort of good win. Although it's a way to have him lose, and not be involved, I guess too.
I could see it going with Danielson. Maybe he pins Guevara and that's some storyline. Maybe and that kind of gets us away from the feud. I was kind of feeling Danielson too, so
he needs a
I'll
big
go
win.
with that. That makes sense. Lethal and Jarrett versus Darby Allin and Sting. Sting's a safe bet.
Yeah, I don't think that
Does
Lethal
Jarrett
needs
need
to
a win?
be picking up pay-per-view wins, right?
Does Jarrett need a win?
Right,
Like,
same thing. No, they're not positioned to be winning pay-per-view matches. I don't think they don't win TV matches very often. So,
Rose and Cargill, as if
Cargill.
Yep. It's not really a hard one. Like,
no,
champ gets
and
the
I
belt
don't.
back.
I'm afraid that's not going to be.
When has a title theft ever resulted in a title change? I would genuinely like to know because I can't think of any.
Don't anticipate that being a great match.
No. Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, Steel Cage. I think Jungle Boy gets his win back.
Agree.
You can end the feud if you want to, or have a rubber match. I don't care. But I think this is definitely Jungle Boy getting his win back because that just makes sense.
Getting the win in the cage keeps. Maybe it'll do what it's supposed to do and keep Christian out. I don't know, but yeah, I think Jungle Boy wins.
Can't imagine he's climbing with an injured arm, and I can't imagine Luchasaurus wins 2-0 against Jungle Boy. So
because obviously Jungle Boy's the guy they have in mind to be more of a player going forward. So I would assume that in a major stipulation match to end a feud, he needs to get the win.
Britt Baker, Saraya, easy pick.
Unfortunately, Saraya, because they're not going to do all of this and have her not win. I don't think.
Wardlow, Hobbs, Joe. So I'm gonna take Hobbs. I think it should be Hobbs. I think there's a decent chance Wardlow retains, but I feel like he's had enough, and they can do something else with him. And maybe he loses this, and him and Joe can feud over the ROH title. I guess Joe doesn't need a second title, and I think Hobbs.
All right,
Hobbs has earned it.
I will take Wardlow to retain because I think they think he's still the bigger star.
I think that's maybe where I lose, but I'm going to take a gamble on Hobbs.
I agree. I don't think that's a terrible. I hope it's Hobbs.
I'd love it for it to be Hobbs.
I feel like
there's a chance. So
I feel like it's Wardlow.
Maybe Wardlow gets a different title instead, and you can. I don't know, because
there's enough of them floating around out there. That's for sure.
Yeah. Tony Storm versus Jamie Hayter for the AEW Interim Women's World Championship. Messful.
You might get yours back here. I'll take Hayter. I'll say because it's interim, they're going to use this to give her like a trial run, right, without committing too much.
I'll say because it's interim, they won't do that.
And she's over right now. So if they're listening to the fans, they should give it to her. And I like her, so I'll take.
I think they'd wait. Like you can revisit this if it's a blood feud, like or if like is this bitter feud with friends. You can kind of revisit it once the title's legit. Because I feel like I'd kind of want to have the title change once the interim nonsense is kind of cleared out of the air, whether it means the Rose is stripped or not.
Yeah.
So I'll take Storm.
Nice. Little variety.
Acclaimed, Swerve, and Lee for the tag titles. Easy pick is the Acclaimed.
Acclaimed retain, and probably things with Swerve and Lee come to a head, I would assume.
Yeah, and I think like Acclaimed probably have FTR down the road. Probably winter's coming, so.
Yes.
Elite Death Triangle for the trios titles. As much as I would love Death Triangle to win, and honestly, I don't know who I want to win. Probably Death Triangle, but Elite win.
Elite are not losing as they come back, I don't think. And I don't like. It's great Death Triangle have the belts, but it doesn't kill them to not have them, I don't think. And you need the Elite right now because the people are going to be so thrilled they're back that why not put the belts on them?
And then the main event, which will be Moxley and MJF for the world title.
Not an easy one.
I know. I would have thought it was such a shoo-in before, and now I'm like, I'm still leaning towards MJF, but I don't know.
I don't know either. What are you taking?
I don't know. I'm thinking.
I like that I honestly don't know. It could go either way. That is nice because usually I'm pretty confident in most of my picks.
Yes.
But this one I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I will take. I'll take Moxley to retain.
Really?
Just I don't really have a ton of reason why. I just have a hunch that they're gonna drag it out a bit more, and then MJF's really gonna lean into being a super heel. Like he's got another level he could go to, and he needs to get more frustrated, and somehow losing, maybe questionably, um, will put him at that next level of clearly a
something with the
mega
firm.
heel. So I'll take Moxley to retain. I just talked you into it, probably, didn't I?
Yeah, I'll go with Moxley.
I knew it.
I love Moxley, so that works. That's it.
Right, like just
Essentially,
one more thing for MJF to get
yeah.
super mad about and
And
unlock
maybe
his
that'll maybe like
super villain.
and maybe he'll reveal the ruse.
Yeah.
I don't know, something like that. I mean, I'm okay with being wrong, but honestly,
Like Stokely could easily do something, right? To
as much as I said I knew Moxley would lose it to MJF, I'm
it
still.
doesn't have to be now.
Well, I'm still not ready for Moxley. I don't want him.
And he still could, but I don't know if it has to be this match.
I don't want him to lose the title. It makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I think that's everything.
All right.
I don't think I missed everything
Nice.
or anything.
Cool. And so you have some figuring it out to discuss?
Kind of a little bit.
All right, so we will move into that now, our final segment where Jack talks about anything from the world of wrestling action figures in Figuring It Out with Jack.
Great.
All right, what do you have for us?
All right, so Nate went to the mall to meet a friend, so I tagged on because I was like, "Ooh, maybe I'll look at stuff."
Yes.
Look at stuff I did.
And you were very happy with what you looked at.
I went to Mind Games. They don't really have much there. They had some Lego, which is kind of cool. This is just gonna be kind of my general mall trip, I guess, but it is related.
It leads to figuring.
Then I went to Toys R Us, so they had some solid figures. They had like I want to say like 6 or 7 of the WrestleMania 38 Elite AJ Styles, which is the Boneyard attire.
Yeah.
So it's basically like AJ Styles and jeans.
Nice.
I think the cloth OC shirt is nice, but like it's AJ Styles and jeans, so
right.
It's not that interesting. It's definitely the shelf warmer. I think most sets tend to have one, and so that is the one of that set. And they had the SummerSlam Elite Rey Mysterio, which was the build figure Dominic. So he's got his child sever head, basically.
Yes.
And it is child Dominic, and the Rey Mysterio is from said match, or the Custody of Dominic ladder match. So you too can recreate that match if you have the Legends Eddie Guerrero as well. I was just telling you, if they had the Shawn Michaels from that series, I would have gone next from the Hulk Hogan match.
Amazing.
So,
the oversell match?
Yeah. It's so funny. But yeah, so they had like a Legends Rey Mysterio too. They had 3 different Rey Mysterios there. The AEW figures that weren't anything interesting. It was just unmatched 3 with like Brody Lee, Dark Order. And then some Unrivaled, there was like Pac from Series 3, which is kind of eh. And there was some Series 6 with like Lucha Bros and Chris Jericho and probably Hager. So that wasn't super interesting. And then like some new Marvel figures, which was kind of cool. They had some of the zombie ones from What If, but nothing that super interesting because I was looking at Star Wars figures. They had a Mandalorian from, remember the one episode where he's on like the snow planet and it crashes and there's like the spiders?
Yes.
So they had him from that, and he comes with a spider, which is fantastic.
Cool.
I almost got that, like I just really wanted something, so I almost bought that unnecessarily. I didn't. In my infinite wisdom, I went to GameStop. So in like one of the back corners, they have some their action figures and stuff, or some of the other action figures, because the Star Wars ones are kind of on the side wall. They have some cool ones, but nothing that really struck me. I saw one of the wrestling buddies, the AEW wrestling buddies, and it was the Street Fighter Kenny Omega one.
Yeah.
It's like this. They had like these crossover figures from when the Elite wore Street Fighter gear at Fighter Fest, I think. And so then I was like, oh my god, do they have the figures here? And I look up, and lo and behold, there's some of the Street Fighter Kenny Omega figures, like just the standard unrivaled ones. So naturally, I've got my loose one in my hand
and one in a box.
I got a mock one here in the package. And so the reason I did that because it's a GameStop exclusive and it's a limited edition. So I'm predicting it'll be something like a Chase, because like it's not like the usual Chase variants where it's like 1 of 3,000 or something like that. It just says limited edition, but I figure that'll become something down the line.
Oh yeah.
A collector. So I think it'll be nice, and the packaging's really nice. Like I didn't even want to open the one I have because even though I got 2, but so it's really nice. And we never get like anything released on time, like
yeah,
we're always a few series behind in
Yes.
Elites and the AEW figures. So I think that's really cool because I remember hearing like a few weeks ago or like a month ago or so that this was hitting Canadian GameStops.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things like it's one of those figures that I thought was kind of cool, but I never really expected to hit around here, so I never really cared about it. But now I'm just waiting for the Young Buck ones to hit so that I can get all 3. So it's cool because I'm pretty sure I don't think it's hit American GameStops yet. 'Cause like the one guy I always watch reviews of. My Damn Toys. I don't think he's reviewed it yet, so
Nice.
I got 2 before he's got 1. So that's
so current.
pretty funny. It's basically, for those who haven't seen, it's Kamega as Akuma. I don't do Street Fighter, so I don't know, but the packaging's super nice. I think it's really cool. And then it's basically the Omega one's probably the least Street Fighter of the 3, because then you got Young Bucks as Ryu and Ken, I think it is, in like the white and red, and they got like these cloth gis, which is cool. But Omega's probably like the least Street Fighter because it's just him with like dyed hair, and then he's got like a Japanese symbol paint on his back, and then the rest of it, like from the waist down, is the same as his first AEW figure with the double or nothing purple tights.
Nice.
But it's pretty cool. You get a couple heads, like there's a Street Fighter hands with the whatever it is. I don't know. It's cool.
Yeah.
Happy
So
me,
that
'cause
was your good find.
Yeah, I was like losing my crap because it was like this is probably the closest to a chase I'll get, because I don't know if I'll ever find one. And
Awesome.
then they also had Christian Cage, which, no, I don't have it.
All right, man. Well, it's like 1:30, and I need to go to bed. And we need to get up and go to watch some wrestling. So we will. I mean, if Full Gear is awesome, we might come down and record because we've got a little more time, maybe than we would normally next week.
Yeah, true.
We might also, in that time, talk about the show that we're going to tomorrow, which hopefully should be really fun. So keep your eyes peeled, as my mom would say, for that. If you're subscribed or following or whatever, you should get a notification, hopefully. So we would love for you to check that out as well. But even if we don't get around to that, we'll definitely be back next Saturday with episode 123. So thanks for joining us for this episode. Hope to see you back next week. And until then, take care.
Bye-bye.